Yes, live and exclusive on Fox Sports. It's the Bombers taking on the Saints here at Etihad Stadium. Twilight football on a Sunday afternoon in Melbourne. Roof is well and truly closed, as you can see. The Bombers at the moment 2-5, and of course their opposition today, the Saints, travelling very nicely. James Hurd, as I welcome you, at 5-2.
Yeah, thank you, BT. A big win, a big game for both teams. Both teams need to win. The Essendon Footy Club, that goal-to-goal line, Fletcher, Hooker, Watson, Gubble and Hurley looks good. Ryder in the ruck, you expect Paddy Ryder to get up and jump and get some tap-outs. Melksham on the bench and Collier a late inclusion at the expense of Lonergan, who goes out.
And Gerard, as we take a look at the Saints, just one win, and that win by 3 points over the Dogs in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, we'll get to that shortly, but the key points for the Bombers, Hurdy.
Key points, yes. I think Essendon have to stop Stephen Milne. I think St Kilda will struggle to kick goals, and Milne's a big part of that. They can close him down. Mark McVeigh to go to him. They need to plan to move the ball more quickly. I know they need to win the contested ball, but if they don't plan to move quickly, they won't be able to score those goals. And lastly, for the Essendon Football Club, they have to execute their skills under pressure better than they have been doing. Their skills under pressure against Port Adelaide weren't good enough, and it's the reason Port beat them last week.
And of course the Saints, as I mentioned before, just one win from their last 3 weeks as we welcome them onto their arena, of course led by their skipper Lenny Hayes. Nick Dalsano looking for a big game today, and boy, are they under some sort of pressure. That man there, Justin Kosicki, Gerard Healy, has to perform today.
He does. He's been, I think, encouraged and supported by his coach over these last couple of weeks. He's happy with the work rate, but I'm sure he wants to see some goals on the board. Let's take a look at their squad. Armitage, Hine and McAvoy come in for King, Stephen and, of course, Clark. Interested to see Armitage. I think he's a player that really can bolster their contested footy, and surprisingly that's where they have been down most of this year. Much more settled in defence, and I think that's what their coach was said he'd do during the week, and they've been good to that. The two key points all as one. Contested footy and tackling, it was the hallmark of their great success last year, and yet they've been beaten in all but one of those, all but 1 week in those two areas this season. And the final one is simply the acid putting it on the top blows. If the Saints have got to return to their best and erase last week's performance, they've got to play really good footy. Dalsano was well down last week. He's had a very good year. Montagna the same. And Goddard's another one who hasn't been kicking anywhere near enough goals in the absence of Rewald.
So where would you play Goddard, Gerard?
I'd play him exactly the same position, in the middle, and deal with whatever comes.
And with the occasional move forward, perhaps Fisher, another there, and Gilbert, of course. We're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to find out about the Bombers and certainly the Saints. Twilight footy. Matthew Knights, Ross Lyon shaking hands. The two skippers, Lenny Hayes today, and also Joe Watson. Of course, umpiring is everyone's business. Lime green uniforms representing that this weekend. Junior football, we need more umpires, and that's what the lime green colours are all about. As we see a bit of a box on off the ball, but just the toss of the coin won by Joe Watson, kicking left of screen, and a bit of action as we're about to start this one.
Let's go down. Wrong.
BT, well, obviously Joe Watson, a lot of pressure on him tonight. Last time these two sides met, he had 37 disposals. He's been a sensational player for Essendon. The whole of the St Kilda Footy Club will put him under pressure tonight. I think Clinton Jones will go to him. Clinton Jones has actually gone to Brett Stanton as we speak, but don't be surprised if Clinton Jones goes to Joe Watson at the start of the game.
Emergency umpire out there amongst it. Quite a bit of niggle in the preamble to this bounce.
I think Smithy might know something.
We're ready for action. Get that feeling, Gerard?
I do get that feeling, but Jones is getting under the skin of Brent Stanton.
And it's important to stop Stanton because he's such a great runner for Essendon. A link man, he gets it across half-back and do a lot of damage through the middle of the ground. So that's why they've got Jones on Stanton at the moment.
Gardner just intent on crashing into Ryder and really making him earn it, in the first clash in the middle of the ground will result in not much.
Now, we're talking about St Kilda being a great contested ball winner last year, Gerard, and great tackler, and they have dropped off this year, as you see Jones on Stanton, and Stanton not happy. Essendon, in fact, have been one of the better teams this year in contested ball and tackling.
Hasn't been a game this year that Clint Jones has started where that sort of stuff hasn't involved him in some way. They seem to go at him. Here's Graham. They need this run off half-back, and in the first 3 rounds this year, Graham, I thought, was probably St Kilda's best player.
Yeah. And the intent, BT, at the start of the game, there's St Kilda intent to attack and run fast. will be very interesting to watch, because in the last few weeks it hasn't been as good.
You're surprised to see Fisher at centre-half forward?
Very.
Fisher with a long ball inside forward 50 with the numbers there, getting a piece of that.
Ben Howlett running with Nick Del Santo, very tight tag.
There's Jetta. He came into the side for the Bombers this week as well, and Fletcher, the old man of the team, is looking like he's got another year or two left in him.
And the reason he had to kick to the boundary line is Essendon tried to press up the ground to congest the middle of the ground as St Kilda had the ball, and on the rebound Fletcher had absolutely nothing to kick to. A smart kick across the line so Essendon can set up again and attack the goals.
Nick Hayne making his debut for the Saints today.
Joey Montagna playing deep as a forward.
Goddard, and trying to get out of the tackle was Jetta.
So Goddard started up on the ball, and Fisher has started, as we just said, at centre-half forward. And there's Joey Montagna getting an early touch.
Interesting matchup, Dempsey with Montagna. I don't think Dempsey's got the tank to go with Montagna, but if Dempsey does get free, he's got great explosive speed and excellent skills.
And the Bombers have gone one-on-one in this period, and Montagna had nothing on, and Dempsey makes a great smother.
And Hurdy, Lenny Hayes going head-to-head with Joe Watson, so that's going to be an interesting matchup. Both of those players who can rack up the possession, so that's going to be a good one.
They are rolling. They're both hard in close, so it'll be a tough ball in and under for when Joe Watson and Lenny Hayes go for the ball.
I'm getting the feeling too, Jared, that Rowan knows a bit about this game. It's a bit of inside mail, Rowan. Is it you've been down there watching training, or what is it?
Been doing some of my best investigation work before the game, BT.
Windlich onto Goddard, but looks like they're playing a little bit wide.
McBurney, one of the three umpires, bouncing the ball there today. Del Santo with a kick outside that'll go over the line. The three umpires today: Steve McBurney, Chris Camelons and Robert Finlay.
And that's the area Montagna will have it over Dempsey, the strength just to push him out of the play. Courtney just needs to back off him a little bit and jump in those contests.
Elwyn Davey playing on Gilbert, it would appear, trying to make Gilbert become a defender.
And he'll just tackle and tackle and tackle him.
Well done by Stanton to get the soccer into the middle of the ground. Couldn't hold it, Zaharakas, but managed to work it forward. Not in the favour of the Bombers though, and here they wind up from the Saints. They love this, but this is the part of the game, James, that you alluded to that's been letting them down. Their skills under pressure.
Yeah, they need to improve.
Gwilt and Davey go at it, and Gwilt wins the physical bumping contest, and now the Saints are able to move the ball. Here's Lenny Hayes, a chiselling ball, cut off in the end by Howlett. Howlett goes wide. Opportunity here for Prismal.
And of course, you referred to that kick of Gwilt's, which was just degrade. And I guess you forgive players for early game nerves, but he wasn't under any pressure at all.
And Stanton coming off already for an early rotation, 2.5 minutes into the game, and Clint Jones coming off at the same time.
Is that about trying to reorganise that matchup, James? Or
yeah, I'm not sure. I think it'll be about the rotations. They'll gradually do their rotations. He's also being tagged, so maybe trying to throw the tags.
Yep, Brent Prismal has the ball with a 50-metre penalty to his advantage, and he's now within 60, as you can see there. Kicks to the pocket. Here they come, Ryder over the top, looking to get a piece of it. And the Saints outnumbering Baker, doing the conservative back pocket thing.
It was a poor kick. He saw the movement of Ryder up the ground, but didn't see the St Kilda player lurking just in front of Ryder.
Oh, just giving Gardner a little bit of a nudge. It came out the back door. Snyder involved early. And an opportunity now for the beautiful, smooth-moving Del Santo. Fisher, a little clumsy down low, recovers though. McWalter now for the Saints, starting to get a little bit of flow forward.
Where would you like to see Kozinski play, Jared? Up the ground around half forward, or would you like to keep him deep?
No, I like him deep, but I also like him in the ruck, and I suspect with McAvoy in the side today, we're going to see a little bit of everything. But I'd also like to see him lead more direct in his leading. At that stage, we saw the ball coming up the ground, and he just held it until his angle was almost closed down on by Cale Hooker, who did a good job.
Melksham did really well. Here's Collier, late inclusion in the side as well. Now Prismal, little left foot poker around the corner is nice to Hurley. Hurley, after serving some weeks off early in the year, just starting to get some footy under his belt, which will help in. Monfries went very, very early. Now Hayes. Ray.
Oh, good hands from Ray. Really good hands.
Kept it alive. There's Armitage. Gilbert. Good awareness to get rid of the ball, and that's a trip.
Tell you what, fantastic forward pressure by Essendon, getting big numbers there, but if they do break the line, the Saints, that's the hands I was talking about, just kept it alive, didn't take true possession, so he couldn't be tackled.
Got the room out the outside there, Gerard. Geary is in a lot of space, and Dawson able to miss the kick, and that's, again, the thing that's been letting the Saints down a little bit. Geary able to run onto it, though, and get it inside. They outnumber here, but only temporarily. Dempsey with a lightning handball to space, and now a kick over the top is also very impressive. This is Gumbleton. Kick over the top. It was a poor kick. It was a little too long for Monfries, and I tell you what, it's cost him a knee into the kidney, which could be disastrous.
And that's the part of Essendon's game that cost them last week against Port Adelaide. Their entry into the forward line, their skill level is just not good enough. And already in this game this week they've struggled.
Kazitsky had it in both jukes. Couldn't get it to stay, though. And that was a little indicative of last week. Free kick here, though, with the Saints as Monfries appears okay. Little kick goes into Milne, not 15, said the umpire. A bit of a pushover, but it was in the back. Hocking, I think it might have been.
Well, it was just irresponsible in many ways that he's just given him the big shove out. He had him buried. There's Gwilt putting the knee in the kidney, as you said, BT. And Stephen Milne, he's off. Why push? Why not tackle?
He was going to tackle and just lost a piece of him. Milne unusually going deep into the pocket to Montagna. There's an opportunity for the Saints again. Picked up here, Armitage involved, Snyder. Bit of a don't argue, thought he was going to go to his left. He came onto his right, good decision. Fletcher, really good job to get back and bring that to the ground.
Yeah, we saw Sam Fisher elect to grapple with Dustin Fletcher. I'm not sure he had any other option, but he's the one bloke. Since Steve Silvani was retired, he is the best grappler in the business.
Well, the great thing about Fletch there is he knew that Fisher couldn't use his hands and his back. And Fletch has said that he will go back with the fly of the ball knowing that they can't use their hands. And Fisher's got to run and jump. Run and jump, put your knee in him, time your jump and take the mark. That's how you stop guys like Fletcher coming back on you. Keep
an eye on those tackle numbers today too for both of these sides.
Fresh air.
They had a bit of a fresh air. He picked up on Milne. Bit of a let off there for McVeigh.
Well, you've really put the acid on a mate of yours in Mark McVeigh. I know you've got a good relationship with him, but coming in you said stop Milne, you effectively stopped the Saints, and he has got the job in front of him.
Yeah, Mark's had an interesting start to the year. Missed 3 weeks with a blood infection in his elbow and was very good last week against Port Adelaide, but this is his biggest challenge and will go a long way to Essendon winning if he can keep Milne goalless or down to 1 or 2.
Fletcher down the line finds Dempsey. Goddard 3 tackles already. The team has 7, by the way, so a good start for the Saints. They look at it, about 30 tackles a quarter is what they need to be on target. Gilbert. Hayes able to run. Kick inside was not great. Hocking gets back and gobbles it up and comes onto his favoured left side. Look at that. Watson goes the long kick to Davies. Superb. Got the run of Monfries on the inside if Elwyn wants him. Elects to go over the top to Hurley. Couldn't hold the mark. Blake did well.
Did brilliantly, Blake. No push out there from Blake.
He did do well, but Hurley's got to hold his space better, Gerard. He's got to protect where the ball's going to land. The best forwards in the competition would mark that ball.
Almost had to draw the free kick, if not the mark.
Yep. Jump into him as well.
Goddard wide. There's the new boy, Hayne.
Push out from Fletcher. And that's what you're talking about in reverse.
Yeah, you can't use your hands in the game anymore to push them out. So you just, as a forward, you've got to push back as hard as you can.
Damn good crowd in here tonight on this twilight footy eve of a Sunday in Melbourne. Completing round 8 up in the 40s. They were forecasting in the high 30s here. It surprised a few, I think. Here's Myers. Decides to chisel it out wide. Missed the target out there in Collier.
St Kilda have been a lot more attacking so far, Gerard, than last week. They really have tried to move the ball quickly. Last week they held the ball in the mark for a long time. This week moving it a lot more quickly. Though Essendon at this occasion have able to flood and stock the back on.
The umpire didn't give the previous Saints player any time with the play on call. Here's Ray. Goes long and deep to a one-on-one. Did well to keep in the contest there at ground level. Cozzy almost grabbed it while lying on the back. Monfries to Zaharakis, got rid of it. Here's Hocking, little left foot kick around the corner. High ball getting back. Gumbleton keeps his feet. Went to ground. Gwilt. Gumbleton needs to handball it out in front. He does. Saints are there. Real aggressive tackling from the Saints Armitage, or was it Ray?
Well, they've been led by Stephen Baker. That was brilliant down there from Farron Ray. He's started fantastically well. Cozzy couldn't quite grab that one, but Stephen Baker has led the way with a tackle.
Just on that Cozzy mark, at his best, he runs and he jumps at that.
Superb tackle by Farron Ray to stop what would have been a certain goal. And we're now within 20 metres of the Bombers' left of screen goal. Good game brewing here. Just a point apiece in the early stages. Hill over the back with a nice little touch to Watson. Watson goes in without regard for his body. And we'll have another one here. Zara Rakis on the bottom of the pack.
Interesting. Fisher hovering around the middle of the ground with Fletcher as the second deepest forward, and then Kazitsky right back another 50 metres away. Those two guys are playing the deepest in the forward line for St Kilda.
As Melksham tries to work his way through. And been pinged with the ball. Winderlick it was, in fact, and the Saints able to run with the advantage, but the kick is high, and to no one in particular. Here's Hooker. Did really well, didn't he?
He's kicked it high, BT, to two big forwards. I mean, that's all right out in front of Stephen Milne, but not to Fisher and Kazitsky.
Watson made a really good decision not to play on. The kick to Gumbleton was too heavy, and that's a hand in the back. Just a little shimmer of a hand from Gwilt in the arch of the back.
BT, it was there. The umpire has to pay it, but it was just incredibly dumb football from Gwilt. The ball was going over his head. He was never, ever going to go near it. And he goes up and pushes him in the back.
Yep. It was a silly decision because, as you say, Gerard, the ball was heading over the top. And now, as a result, Gumbleton will line up for goal.
That rule didn't come in last week, did it?
No, it's not as though you don't know the rule.
Hasn't been paid for a couple, though. Gumbleton comes in now, kick on the way. Looks pretty good. And he's a little disappointed, though. Umpire Jason Venkataya Oshiro, the goal umpire down there. From the Riddle District Footy League.
He's been at the top of his game for a long time.
He has. He's one of the best, and
yet to crack a grand final.
The Riddle District League very happy they've been able to present an elite umpire.
Are you mounting a case for to get a grand final, BT?
I think he's been unfairly and unjustly dealt with in previous years. Here they go again. The Saints wind-up machine. Hayes to Graham. Graham deep on the boundary. Handball over the top. Opportunity. Hayne goes inside 50. Fisher. Fletcher with a squatting knock over the top. Look at the Bomber numbers around the ball. Hill's got to commit to the body. Does. A deliberate underground handball to Winderlick. Was really, really intelligent. Caught with the ball. Here's Jeddah. Fast handballs out wide. Winderlick again. Had the awareness while being tackled to get rid of the ball. That was good play. Collier's clobbered. Stanton in there as well.
He's nice and tough out there at the moment, Hurdy.
It is, Gerard, but St Kilda the last couple of inches are very keen just to bomb it in long.
Yep.
And I don't reckon you're going to beat Dustin Fletcher kicking it in long and high.
Bombing it long, but no support at ground level. There was 4 bombers at ground level. They just mopped up Fletcher's punch.
Yeah, a lot of football supporters out there saying, thank goodness someone's kicking it long.
When you're outnumbered in your forward line,
Give him
2 to 5.
Got Cozzy down there. Give him a chance. One out. Put it on the head, Hurdy.
Oh, hello.
And that's a down the field kick against Hill.
Been involved in a few of these this year.
And Baker might have it reversed here if he's not careful.
You see, one thing you're taught, Gerard, nowadays, when you're in a blue like this, never lose your feet. David Hill loses his feet. They're all over it.
It's Kozitsky's. Let's have a listen. Kozitsky. It's been reported, he said. So Kozitsky's free kick from 50. The big man Hill with a hip and shoulder. A little late, perhaps.
And the Saints really focusing on their tackle. 15 to Essendon 9 so far this quarter.
Kozitsky from 55. This would do wonders for his confidence. A ripping kick. It's a little left to right tail on the end, and it's got the journey. Cozzy's got the goal he was after, surely. It is all clear, and the Saints get the first.
Look, and it was silly play by David Hill because Joe Watson was going to mark that ball on the 50, and Essendon had a bit of momentum and were playing very well. What this does is, with a silly bump like that, gives Kazitsky some confidence. A great shot at goal. As we see this, Gerard, I think he's going to be in a bit of trouble. With that one, you leave the ground, and then that's a terrific kick by Kazitsky at 55, 60 metres, a fantastic kick.
Been involved in a few of those this year, has David Hill.
What do you think of it?
Oh, I think he's going to get looked at, and I think probably 3 strikes and he'll be out. He's had 2 that he's got off.
Just a bump, wasn't it? A bit late.
It was a bump. If he hit him in the head, which it may or may not have done, he'll go. And if it doesn't, he'll get off.
I don't think there was much head there, but anyway, leave that to the authorities. Here's Prismal with a handball clearing out of the middle. Gwilt, better than Gumbleton. Now Blake.
Good run from Ray here. He's starting the match pretty well.
He is. It's very impressive.
They're playing at all costs in Kilda. I think they've learned from last week. They have to move it very quickly.
Tell me they're not playing a different play-on style here from half-back today. They're not chipping around.
Goal square.
There's Gardner, the big man. It's enough to get there. Cozzy was put off by Hooker in the end.
Well, it was unfortunate for Kaczynski because they did everything right except Michael Gardner's kick just was of the helicopter variety and didn't quite get there.
Hooker. Certainly moving it swiftly from half-back today, the Saints.
Hill's gone forward and Zach Dawson is going to be his man. In fact, they're one extra in attack at the present time, the Saints, the Bombers, because the Saints keep pushing the numbers up.
Yep. Winderlich wanting someone to come at him, but no one came at him for the easy present-up kick, and he had to kick it down the line to a contest.
And that's just classical St Kilda play. They're giving away the free kick, but they force the teams to go long and higher than they outnumber at the contest and normally win it back.
Well, they want to get it down quickly because they've still got a man extra in attack here, the Bombers.
Both teams up and running at the moment. Handball receives 24 to St Kilda, 21 to the Bombers, so they're on the march.
Gardner's pointing.
Davey.
It's going to be his man that ends up with the ball.
Needs to get back to his feet quickly as possible. Here's Hill up the corridor, ignores that. Thought he went to the wrong option, but the mark's been taken anyway.
He misjudged it, Farron Ray. He ran under the footy, should have come over the top and punched it away.
So Hurley will get a look at this. 7 goals for the year for Michael Hurley. Just playing his 5th game for the year. Bombers in desperate need of a settler here. They need some reward for the work they've done. The Saints are starting to put some nice plays together. Here is Hurley, and that one just a fraction right.
We did this a bit last week too, Essendon. Wasted opportunities in front of goal, and we know in the game of AFL football now, you only get so many opportunities while the other team rebounds and kicks 1 or 2. So if you don't make the most of them, especially against St Kilda, you'll get cut apart.
7-3 in the clearances at the moment in favour of the Saints. I think Ross Lyon will be happy with everything he's done, their side has done, bar some of the skill errors.
There's a turnover, and you talk about skill errors as Hill lines up, missed to the left. In the end, out of bounds in the full, but another one of those, Jared.
Sorry, Smitty, you were saying?
Well, the Bombers have only had 6 inside 50s, but they've actually had 3 scoring shots, so they're doing okay. But just, as you said, they've just got to put the scoreboard pressure on there.
You need to do that and get some reward, Smithy. You're quite right. There's Snyder. Out loose, and the kick in front of Fisher, who leads Fletcher to the ball, but he's got Cozzy in a 1-out if he wants that. He presents up and now doubles back. He ignores it and goes inboard to perhaps Jones.
I haven't seen St Kilda go coast to coast very often this year from kick-ins, and that's one of their best.
Jones wide to Montagna, who I thought could wheel and kick that. He does now, goes with a long ball, and Hooker gets back, dropped the mark that he perhaps thought he was under some pressure, and that's deliberate. I thought he fumbled it. The umpire's paid a deliberate behind, and this will be a certain goal to Cozzy. That, I think, is the wrong decision, boys.
We're going to have a look at that again because that did not look deliberate. It looked like he fumbled the ball. He might have banged it again.
Let's have a look. He drops the mark. It spills out, comes off the back of his leg, and he went to grab the ball. That's not paddling the ball over the line deliberately. He went to grab it. So the ball has crossed the line. Where the ball crossed the line, then he must go on the angle. So I'm not sure about that. I reckon the umpire wasn't sure. He was hesitant giving it.
This is a rule we do have to look at, isn't it?
Cozzy around the corner, left foot snap, has got it. Cozzy's got a couple. Bomber fans don't like it. James Hurd, your thoughts?
Well, I just think this is a rule we have to look at because if the players don't understand the exact interpretation of the rule, certainly up here we don't understand it. Jared Healy's fallen off his seat and can't speak. He doesn't understand it.
Well, I actually think he paddled it across the line, but I think he thought he was under pressure. So if he's under pressure, he's allowed to do it.
What is pressure? I mean, what's the definition of pressure? You've got a St Kilda player within 10 metres.
Well, that's pressure, is it?
Metres.
Under what we saw.
But I reckon he dropped the mark initially because he thought he was under more pressure than he was.
Yes.
So therefore he had reason to still think there was something.
He's under pressure. I don't think you can dispute he paddled across the line.
Oh, no, I reckon there's a dispute in that as well.
But Scott
BT, I'm with you.
McLaren...
Sorry, Jared. BT, I'm with you because the ball was actually rolling forward towards the goals. He's actually tried to tap it, and the ball just momentum over the line.
Well, if he tried to tap it, he was tapping it forward, wasn't
No,
he?
he tried to get it, Jared, but the
He tried
momentum...
to gather it.
Irrespective, it's the question of pressure. He thought he was under pressure, and that's why it should have been paid a ball up.
No,
a
that's
point, I should say.
strongly. I want you to analyse that on the couch. Opportunity here now for the Saints in the back half. Oh, Dawson put his head over the ball and then took it back for some unknown reason without the ball. Gilbert, McAvoy.
Well, whether it was a goal or not, whether it should have been a goal or not, Essendon need to regroup and kick a goal because St Kilda are slowly starting to get on top of this game.
Oh, and there's the leg there, so Davey will like that. And
Nice deliberate grab of the leg too.
may well be 50 from Hayne. Well, don't hold him up, umpire. Let him play. Davey comes back to Hocking, so they just need to regain their composure here, the Bombers. The Saints are playing some good footy at the moment, just in patches, but it's coming together nicely for them.
Good news for the Saints is Cozzy has nearly doubled his goal return for the year. He had 3 coming in and he's kicked 2 tonight.
Horrible kick from Myers, missing Ryder.
And that's Myers' big weakness in his game at the moment, kicking the ball away and kicking it to the opposition. He's got terrific movement, understands where the ball's going, but his choice and his options with his kicking are letting him down.
Thought the run from behind, so just chipping the ball a little here, the Saints, because waiting for the opportunity before they can go fast and quick with the ball. Hooker. The corner, here's Jetta. Need to see his wheels today if the Bombers are a chance. A long ball, Dawson leading Hildu the contest, and
He's got to hit the target, Zach Dawson. His kicking's been ordinary this season.
That's the reason Jetta's in the team, to inject some pace and run through the midfield to try and go through a St Kilda midfield which is a little bit slower, but if you can run through the midfield then you dispose of the ball like that, you're almost better off not getting it to him.
I wish the Bombers wouldn't allow that kick sideways and backwards. Force St Kilda to kick it down the line. So the Saints, I reckon, just starting to gain some confidence out of this here at the moment.
And the glove is working at the present time. Stanton just to 2 possessions.
Yeah.
What we know with St Kilda, guys, is if they kick goals, 10 or 11 goals, they're very hard to beat because they really restrict your goal kicking ability. So even this 2 goals St Kilda as it is, it's probably worth 3 or 4.
Look at the pace of Atkinson. Chip to Prismal, got to go out, it does.
Tell you what, Nick Hine might have endeared himself to his coach if that performance.
Thought Prismal should have given it first call to Atkinson there. And now back in the hands of Watson, who gave it to Dempsey, who was always under some defensive pressure. Smacking in the Bombers they go, and once again the St Kilda pressure forces the 0-0 draw in the contest.
And that's what they do so well, BT, and great tackle. It's not letting the ball out. Then Schneider back on the ball and keeps it in twice. Terrific play.
Just Camelons. Prismal.
Gone head high, surely.
Prior opportunity.
Oh.
He ripped his head off, didn't he?
Looked like he did.
Yeah, the other umpires called it high.
Gee, umpires are having a mare out here in umpires everyone's business.
It's an umpire appreciation week, BT.
They haven't appreciated their own good work yet. That's going to go the other way.
Oh no. Oh boy, wowee. Gee.
You're confused, BT, or you just like the superlatives of excitement?
Bertie, would you put Stanton on to say Lenny Hayes, just to break it up a little bit?
Yeah, look, you can, but I'm not sure Stanton's a very good player, loves to run with the ball, but his defensive skills haven't probably been trained enough for playing a guy like Lenny Hayes.
There's a kick in hope. They just got a little tempted then, the Bombers, to go forward too quickly, and they ran out of patience. Baker, so they're starting to strangle the Bombers at the moment, the Saints.
Got some bad news for you, Eddie. They've put Stanton on the Milne.
Here's Milne over the top, didn't get it. Snyder had it in, popped out, turns around, left foot shot at goal high, drifting left.
I think that'll stay that way, Jared.
Well, chasing would have been one of the focuses coming in. We'll show you something at the next break. In fact, here it is. Look at this for a chase from Hine. Now, that's just not good enough. And I'm sure the coach will be right onto him at quarter time.
Through the hands of Hooker. Gwilt happy to work it forward. Here's Jetta. Got clobbered by a couple. Del Santo through the feet of Hayes, and now Blake under pressure. Kick around the corner in front, Melksham. Handball Watson. Had to go down low, Myers. Jetta's involved in a bit of a fracas behind play.
So Baker's held him on the ground for 30 seconds there, BT, not letting him up.
Zaharakis Hill had it in the Jukes and's been paid the free. Hands in the back.
I really like David Hill going forward. I reckon he's a big man. He knows when to lead. He's generally a pretty good kick. And once again, it was a dumb decision to push out. I mean, there is just no win in this. You're better off backing in the ruckman to drop the ball, which he actually did.
What are you saying about ruckman, Jared?
Well, you're better off backing in Hill or anybody to drop the ball.
No, it was ruckman specifically.
Well, let's just go back to Jetta. He's got to learn, if you're wrestling Stevie Baker, it's a no-win situation.
David Hill with a little bit of left to right about it. The Bombers like it. They're first.
Important goal for Essendon and David Hill. I like him up forward too, Jared. I think he provides a terrific option. Very hard to match up, and he's got good agility, good pace. As we see Baker and Jetta. Jetta started that. He's one guy I wouldn't pick Leroy as Stevie Baker. And Stevie Baker just held him there for 30 seconds. Said, mate, if you want to take me on, you're not going to win. And Stevie Baker doesn't count his possessions, whereas Leroy Jetta probably should. Terrific pass. David Hill very lucky to have the shot, but it's a very nice kick goal, David.
Lenny Hayes, 7 disposals already, had 29 last week. And David Hill, fine left to right worker of the ball.
Watson and Hayes on 7 BT, so the two men matched up against each other, getting plenty of the ball.
In the middle, here's Howlett again. Melksham involved and off half-back here, the Bombers. Careful not to get caught with the ball. Atkinson wasn't that clever. Stanton now with a bit of a horrible-looking floater. Gumbleton kept it in front. Did well, Gilbert. Help arrives for the Saints in Hayes. Melksham's clobbered and might get a free as he didn't have it.
St Kilda are unlucky there. I think the ball fell out of Melcham's hands, and very impressive in tight though, Melcham. His ability to dodge and weave and grab the ball at positions you wouldn't think is great.
Oh, good mark, Hill over the top. It was falling on the head of the Saints player there in Gardner, I think it was, and he really had no alternative other than stand and wait for Hill to jump over the top.
And this is the David Hill of 2 or 3 years ago before he did his knee, the guy that would take contested marks. You see Melcham, the tackle there, would take contested marks up forward as well as playing the ruck. It was very, very hard to match up on before he hurt his knee.
Siren sound, so Hill will just spend an extra couple of seconds over this, and then it's into routine to make it successive goals and get it back, can you believe it, to a tied ball game at quarter time. He's missed to the right, and a minor score here for the Bombers. St Kilda lead this one 2-3-15 to the Bombers, 1-4-10, 5-point St Kilda advantage. Stay with us on Fox for this big one. Quarter of footy. The Saints hold up though by just the 5 points, 2-3-15 to the Bombers, 1-4-10. You can see there the all-important goals to Kaczynski has a couple. Hill's one, back 1 goal 2. If you take a look at some of the stats, James.
The important thing there is the contested possessions. St Kilda 34-30, and then the tackles 21-14. The pressure around the ball, that's where St Kilda are winning it. Essendon been very good this year, but St Kilda made a point to do very well. Rowan Smith, what's happening down the boundary line?
Well, Hurdy, I was just watching the matchup with Clinton Jones and Brent Stanton. I was just watching. Matty Knight's made a really good move there right at the end of that first quarter. They moved Brent Stanton just to a half-back flank, which just sort of frees him up a little bit because Clinton Jones can get lost as a defensive half-forward. So up on the wing, he was struggling a little bit. Put him behind the ball, just let him run the ball out, and he's just got the last couple of minutes, he got a couple of really good clearances and a couple of good kicks into the forward line. So it's a good move by Matty Knights, I think, to play him off a half-back flank.
Rowan Smith down there on the boundary line. The Bombers at the moment trailing by the 5 points, and certainly the Saints played about, 15 or 17, 18, 19, 20 minutes of really good footy, and the Bombers the rest, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think they would have been thrilled, the Bombers, to be this close. I think if David Hill had kicked that one, then it would have probably been not quite right, the just reward. But he does look dangerous up there in that forward line, and I think that if they can get Paddy Ryder to dominate around the ground, as I think he would, and Hill can continue to provide that target up forward, that to me is their best setup. That's their starting setup. I think Hooker's done a pretty good job, even though Kazicki's kicked 2 goals. One of them was, I guess, on the end of a dubious free kick.
If Hill goes there, Gerard, is it Dawson that takes him, or is it Gardner that's got to follow in?
Well, I think they'll stay with their defensive setup, and that is Zach Dawson will go there. He's gone with all the other big gorillas over the journey, even in grand final, so they'll have the faith to go with him, and I think it's an option that they will certainly explore.
There's the Bombers forward 6. There is Zach Dawson, who we just spoke of, who gets the big job on the big boys that come his way.
Interesting with St Kilda, they seem to be going a lot longer into their forward line than in previous weeks. They're really trying to kick it 40 or 50 metres into Kazicki to a one-on-one. Probably Milne has to get round his feet a bit more, Gerard. I don't think he's played close enough to Kazicki to try and crumb the ball off his hands.
We still haven't seen Stephen Milne play as that full forward, which we often see him doing. At the moment, Fletcher's gone to Kazicki, taking the deepest role. Montagna also starting deep forward along with Goddard.
Controversial rush behind in the first quarter as well, when against the Bombers. That'll be much talked about, and a free kick going to Jeddah, holding the arm on the edge of the square. Jeddah with a good ball to Monfries.
The great thing about Jeddah there is he just grabbed it and moved it quickly. Angus Monfries was able to lose his man in the congestion around about 20 metres out and lead out, and that's the advantage of just getting the ball and going, because something normally happens in front of you.
Angus Monfries, one of their sharpshooters down at Bomberland. Just sense that this looks like it's going to go right to left, but in the last few moments of flight tends to go the other way.
No, the free kicks on the line. I was standing
as Monfries comes in, kick on the way, looks damn good, doesn't it? And can you believe it? The Bombers are in front by a point.
Yeah, it's very hard to believe after the first 20 minutes the Saints played in the first quarter. An important first goal, but you're right, BT, that ball just faded late. That left to right swing that the ball seems to have at that end. As we see in the middle here, this is where the free kick is given to see Jeddah just being pushed at the top of the screen in there, and that's what the free kick was for. Not much at all there, Gerard.
Don't think there'd be much appreciation of that decision, James. Been a couple of those tonight. In fact, some of the umpires have doubted their own men. But good result from the Bombers. They finished the first quarter really strongly, the last 5 minutes, and they've got away to a good start. And despite the fact that St Kilda are winning all the contested ball, etc., they still look vulnerable to open and quick play.
What possibly could that free kick have been for?
Nerves.
Was Jeddah actually in that picture that you guys looked at?
Yeah, it's just at the
top of the screen.
Wondering whether you're seeing things, both of you. There's Hayes. Rams it to the 50. Cozzy in a 1-on-2 contest over the back, recovering the ball. Fisher, Goddard didn't even think about the goals. Did the team thing. And Jones.
And this hurts when the tagger, and I know Jones is more than a tagger, but the defensive player manages to have a shot at goal, because this guy's playing and trying to stop someone. When he kicks a goal, it really hurts you.
I reckon,
you see the ball come to ground and Fisher off to Goddard, and what a kick. That is a fantastic kick and great vision.
Here's Jones from about 25 metres out and nursed it through the behinds.
That's why he's the defensive tagger, Gerard.
Well, I think Clint Jones heard what Rowan Smith said about him going forward, but he couldn't get the job done.
Back into play, been stolen by Milne, and this is the guy that doesn't miss. Bad blue from the Bombers.
And McVeigh kicking out has kicked it straight to his man. That always hurts you. McVeigh has done a brilliant job on Stevie Milne in the first quarter, keeping him to 2 possessions. But that's got to hurt when you kick it to your man who kicks a goal and gives him a little bit of confidence. As we see McVeigh, eyes darting everywhere. Where's he kick? There goes Milne. Great speed. And maybe Stanton should have made more a contest, but Mark just needed to get his kicks a little bit better.
Well, that's a bit of the old forward pressure of the Saints. It hasn't been quite as good this year, but creating a good turnover to get them back in front.
Yep, some evidence of it there. Coming back for the Saints.
Haven't heard the frontal pressure terminology too much this year, although we did give it a good workout last year.
Wore it out, you reckon, last year?
I think so.
Quite sure what we really understood it actually meant, but anyway.
Sounded good.
It did. Jones, Hooker probably could have marked, but did the defensive thing, and Graham recovers the ball. Now Geary, nice handball. Goddard, run of Hayes. Did well to corral Winderlick. Hayes goes high. Here's Del Santo, I think it is. Used his body very, very nicely.
Well, that is the engine room all working together. Goddard getting it to Hayes. Hayes moving around a player and whipping it out to Del Santo, who started the game really well. Just quietened off a little bit in the last half of the first quarter. And this is a big mark.
Protected the fall zone of the ball, didn't he?
I've been very impressed with Ben Howard at the start of his career, but this is the thing with young players coming in, just don't have the body strength and awareness to spoil a ball like that.
For a 2-goal lead for the Saints, here's Del Santo directly in front. There's the kick that confronts him. He's normally very, very good at this. That's going to hit the post. It is. It's right on line.
So you talk about Ruckman not playing a role in a game, but the hit-outs to advantage so far, not one side has had a hit-out to advantage anywhere around the ground.
There's Melksham, reading the paper today. Had a couple of amateur fights. Can handle himself with his jukes.
Right.
30.
Did you have any amateur fights, BT?
Didn't have any fights at all. Just
Tell what, Melksham can play footy too. He's been one of the really exciting players to come into this side. He's a good kick, good decision maker.
something out of the Calder Cannons set up with Marty Ellison and the boys down there. David Flood prior to that.
This is what St Kilda want with a long high ball.
Ryder in front, knocked down, went through the hands of Del Santo, and now trying to back out of the pack is David Myers. Some good in-close shots from our Fox cameras today.
He's an amazing player, Jason Blake. He's been a great servant of the Saints. He's played on big monsters, and today he's on a little fellow in Angus Monfries.
Is he one of the least talked about players in the competition that's actually good?
I reckon he probably owns that mantle.
Yeah. Del Santo got rid of him in the nick of time, but Geary is confronted by Dempsey, and
good play.
here's Howlett. Zaharakis is almost cool in the crises, although Snyder got him in the end.
Well, write that down to Brendan Goddard for his work earlier.
Both sides are tackling very well, but very hot ball out there. The umpires aren't giving him much opportunity to get rid of it along the way.
That was it.
Hooker's done his hamstring. Hooker's done his right hamstring in that attempt, and that's not good for the Bombers. He has given that a nice old tweaking as he tried to keep the ball alive. James Hurd, I want you to come up with an answer now at centre half back for the Bombers, because here's Ryder, Hayes, and that is as good a tweak as you do. In the meantime, a little man Davey steps on the gas. Handball over the top to Collier. Had to go back. Graham did well. Hotting up this one. Hocking on his favoured left side. A morale lifter for the Bombers.
And it gets the run of play too, BT, one they really needed. That's where Essendon want to get the ball out in space where they can run, use their momentum and hands to kick goals like that. Hocking, fantastic goal, has missed a few this year, but on his left foot, he's very damaging, and we see Owen Davey using his pace. This is what you need to do against St Kilda, what Carlton did last week. Run and handball, move it over. Collier has to make that his ball, but then went back for the tackle. And then Hocking there just burst through the pack and a lovely goal.
Let's go down to Rowan Smith, the big injury with Hooker, Rowan.
Well, BT, as you called it, the good old dirty hamstring. The right hamstring torn. He's gone straight down underneath the grandstand, straight down into the rooms, icing up.
Saw him shaking his head to the doctor, Bruce Reid, as well. So.
Yeah, I don't think he'll take any further part in tonight's game, BT.
We saw one yesterday with Bruce, who thought he may have had cramp and stayed out there, but in the end, they're not quite sure, the players, especially those that haven't had them. Here's Hill with a kick way out in front of Angus Monfries, who's pursued by Gilbert. Here's Davey, set up the last one. Had some fancy footwork going there. Monfries around the corner. Too much on it for Gumbleton. Soccer off the ground. Almost got it there, Collier.
BT, to answer your question, I'd move Hurley back to centre-half back. I think he's been pretty quiet up forward, so give him a run at centre-half back for a few minutes.
Okay, especially until the side just settles a bit, I guess, Hurdy.
Geez, they're on fire here, the Bombers. They are really putting the pressure on.
Look at the pressure. Dalsano on his non-wrong side, forced to kick into a spot. Here's Hill. He's got a couple on in the middle.
This game is on the line right here and now.
Hocking again. Doesn't mess around on the head of Gumbleton. Can it sneak over the back? No, it can't. And Dawson.
Get a feeling, Hurdy, that the Bombers are growing in confidence. They haven't released themselves, but that last shot of goal of Hockings gives them some idea as to which way to go about it.
All over it, Hurdy. Hurley's gone back. As quick as a flash. As Ray and the Saints kicks a high, ugly ball. Dempsey's got to do it. He sort of got underneath, almost a bit of a tunnel there, but Dempsey liked his work and continues to fire. Look at the pick up by the big man, Hurley. The left foot kick wasn't so great as Gilbert runs over the line with it.
And that's the advantage of having a player like Hurley in your side. Only a young player, hasn't played many games, but is quite comfortable forward and back. And we see Dempsey just nudging Montagna out of the play here. I think that's fair enough to use your body to make sure you create the space.
Yeah, good use of the body in the end, as the replay clearly showed. Here's Goddard going backwards just to relieve the stress momentarily. Wilt and Blake combine. McQualter's strong presentation demanding the pill. And up the line, Snyder. Onto ground, Hocking really should have known he was beaten for the mark and kept his feet there and manned the mark. Here's Hurley. First go at centre back. Punches the ball away. Ray looking for helpers. Montagna sees a wide open Baker.
Goals.
Little chip ball. Here's Milne. Mistimed his steps, I reckon. Went off the wrong boot. Bang, in they go. McVeigh went with head first and did not flinch. Spike McVeigh, as hard as you've seen a player go.
Yeah, and he certainly got smacked by the St Kilda players, but he's actually given a free kick away here, McVeigh. What he's done is he's gone in hard, as we see here on the replay, gone in hard, gone for the ball, and he got a bit angry with the knee and the head, and the next contest he's given the free kick away. So watching, here he goes, jumps in with the knees, and just needs to control his temper a little bit. Great play in the first instance.
But once again, the umpire on the spot didn't play it. McBurney came in from further away and overruled.
I'm not sure McBurney, I'll not be too critical of McBurney, I'm not sure whether he could actually see from that far away what happened, but they have to call it as they see it, I suppose, BT.
There's Del Santo right in front, and he'll smack this one through, and he does. And the Saints, 7-point leaders over the Bombers.
Well, it may prove to be one of the more significant goals because they had to stabilise under enormous pressure by the Bombers.
Here's McVeigh going at the ball, getting smashed, holding the ball, comes out. We see here...
Oh, I'm not sure he did too much wrong, Hurdy.
Yeah, I think umpire McBurney might have been a little bit overzealous there. McVeigh obviously deserved a free kick earlier.
The umpire in charge, James, was not more than 4 metres there. You can see him just in the background there, and then McBurney came in. See that? The other umpire didn't call it, and I reckon the other umpire slightly peeved at McBurney sticking his nose in.
Slightly peeved?
Could be a lot peeved.
Do you reckon they have an argument at half-time over those sort of things, BT?
There's been a couple of overrulings there by the senior man, so they've got something to talk about anyway. Let's put it that way, with the controversial rush behind rule being invoked here today in controversial circumstances. We're going to look at it at half-time, I can assure you. Watson, Gumbleton and Ryder. Opportunity, Graham to tidy up. Gilbert. And now Hayes. On the back line. Been prepared to run it from here. Chipping ball wasn't great. Bombers have got the numbers. Dempsey did well, kept his body in line with the ball. And umpire Robert Finley to throw it in the air. I love the way these sides are distinguished, with the clear white and red being on display here today. Couldn't get two more contrasting colours or jumpers.
Good chase from Grant.
Got rid of it. And the boundary line is there, and we're going to throw it back in.
How do you see this game right now, Hurdy? It just, the Bombers aren't going away, and their pace still looks to me very threatening to St Kilda.
I think the last 15 minutes have really matched them in the in close, the contested ball, and now they're starting to get it out. As we see here, Owen Davey need to get the ball in the hands of these guys.
Coming forward now, an opportunity down low for Hill again, was infringed. Umpire said no, fair enough.
And what that does, Jared, if you don't score, St Kilda get the ball out wide as well.
Baker under pressure. Trip around the corner had to be perfect and precise. It was. And this is when they're prepared to go to Saints, when they've got all the Bombers players committed inside their back 50. The run here by Lenny Hayes is very impressive. The kick on the run to Kazitsky knocked away Fletcher. Fletcher needs to go again.
Yeah.
Now, players everywhere for the Saints. Here's Montagna to that man Milne, who marks deep and wide.
The player they've got to get up and running at the moment, the Bombers, is Joe Watson. Just one touch this quarter, and his man you just saw dragging the ball into the midfield. Did you notice that Cozzy stopped his lead?
Yeah, and you can't with Fletcher. He's got such great closing speed, Dustin Fletcher, that he'll close him down if he stops that lead. Milne had far too much space there.
Milne comes in, normally accurate, missed to the right-hand side.
And St Kilda, what they like to do is get Kazitsky up the ground and Milne come round the back. And one-on-one with 40 metres of space, it's very hard to stop.
That's it now. That's it.
Fletcher.
What's he do here, BT?
He kicks the ball long down the line. 3-on-1 though. Didn't get enough Bombers there. And the Saints fight over it in the end and give the Bombers some hope as the little man Collier got rid of it rather quickly. Now Jones goes backwards but finds Blake, who now fronts the play and sees Ray. He just got there. Ooh, lucky Jetta didn't touch him, otherwise it would have been a certain 50 after he'd completed the mark. Blake is manned by Hill, but Jones is able to run free. Davey letting him go. Now they've got him manned up down the field. Here's Dempsey on Fisher. Fisher did really well to Geary. Geary was really composed. Bit of a no-looker from Nick Del Santo. And the Jones kick is wide out of bounds on the full.
Nice pressure from Stanton. He read the handball from Del Santo pretty well.
That's what Stanton has to do, even when you're not getting a lot of the ball. Put that pressure on and get yourself back into the game.
Early, the Bombers needed to get it out the other side then. They had loose players. And Fletcher now sees one of those in Melksham. On 50 there. Melksham asking the question and being answered by the umpire in the affirmative. Jake Melksham.
Nice kick of the football, Jared, as you made the observation earlier in the game. So this should find a target.
I'm told to move it on now. There's a little chip over the top if he wants. He ignores that, takes the man on the mark on. And the kick in the end fell short of where it was supposed to go, I reckon. But Davies got on the end of it. He's got some hot wheels. Here's Atkinson. Knew he was going to be tackled. That's all he could do. Lightning handball. Melksham, clever tap on. Good play, Bombers. Making something from nothing. Dempsey over the top. Turns and fronts and Gumbleton. Little kick. Too much juice on it. And in the end, the turnover for the Bombers. Hayes.
Good running from Fisher to give him an option. Really good running and a good kick indeed.
It was. Hocking's got to come back or he'll be penalised. Just repeating the news that Sanar back for the Bombers in hooker. Cale Hooker has gone off with what appears to be a couple of week hamstring.
Really enjoyed the way that the Bombers have worked as a team together. We see they're getting numbers up forward and numbers down back. The question is, how are the petrol tickets? Because they are doing lots and lots of full ground running.
Gilbert, McVeigh and Milne knock down Rake and go back to Milne, who was McVeigh's man. And he'll get another shot from the identical position to where he missed a few minutes back. So
that's the beauty of Stephen Milne, BT. His ability just to get up for the second and third efforts. He was beaten. Well, the kick wasn't great. McVeigh able to get a spoil. But as soon as McVeigh hit the ground, Milne was up and over the back.
Having some big numbers for possession getters for the Saints at the moment. They're starting to accrue the ball, which is dangerous. This time Milne looks for the left to right over the top, Gardner. And I think that's almost in the goal square, so it'll be in front. Directly in front. That's a correct call from umpire McBurney in this umpiring is everyone's business week. And a 50-metre, 1-metre penalty, abusive language against Dempsey as Gardner kicks the goal for the Saints.
When did that week get announced, BT?
I think it's very early in the year, the games.
Well, Dempsey is actually
I like it.
picked up on the situation. He knew that he could be...
Terrific mark by Michael Gardner.
It was a great... Was he in the square?
I don't think he was.
I reckon he was right on the line, but we're going to have a look at it here.
No.
Hang on. That's in the square.
No, it's
No,
not.
He walked into the square.
He's landed outside, and that's why Dempsey gave him a serve, the umpire, because he...
What is it? Everyone's business week, is it?
You're right, but he's up on the umpires in everyone's business week. Boys.
Yeah, well, they can get it wrong.
There
It's a
it is,
question of
there
what
it
you
is.
do. Let's have a look at his feet. They land...
outside the line by
outside.
half a metre. You're quite right, boys. I apologise. But
I don't think it matters. He would have. He was only 2 metres out as it was. He should have
Well,
kicked it.
he would have been on the line, though.
I'm refusing to fall into the game blame that you two seem to gang up today. I don't know what's wrong with you, but here's right up. Handball wide. Kick 2 in a row now, the Saints. And they're just starting to mount a real challenge here at the moment.
Every time St Kilda have done this, get a 2-goal break, Essendon have bounced back with 1 or 2 goals. So important from an Essendon point of view, they get the next goal to stop it going out to 3 goals, because that's when St Kilda become very, very dangerous and squeeze you in their game style.
Has only happened once before in the game, James, but
Thanks,
take
BT.
your point. Take your point.
I'm not going to get away with anything today, am I?
Hayes, wide to Gilbert.
Still reckon they've got to do something about Brett Stanton, Hurdy. He's had 5 touches and he's running around with Clint Jones.
Is it the coach's responsibility,
Absolutely
Gerald, or
it
is it his responsibility as a player to work harder to find the ball?
I hope he's working as hard as he possibly can, but maybe you give him a chop out and you stick him on Lenny Hayes. Watson isn't getting near the footy this quarter.
Hardest kick in football, this one. From this pocket, a left to right slider across the face. Almost impossible to kick the goal. Got to almost aim it at the near behind post. Fans in the back having a bit of a giggle about how difficult it is. As Fisher comes in for the impossible, gets it over the behind post and it drifts, but not enough.
So you put him on Lenny Hayes, and he doesn't do the defensive job he needs to. Lenny Hayes picks
then
up
if he can't do that,
6 or 7 in the... Is it too much of a risk, though, for a period of the game, which is a very important part of the game?
I don't think it's a risk. Lenny Hayes has had 16 possessions. He's getting the footy.
Here's one over the back. Monfries, handball, nothing on. So they just kick in hope. The Bombers, Gumbleton gets it to Atkinson. He's got good pace. He'll run this to a goal. James Hird, you are an absolute magician. Every time the Saints kick 2 in a row, the Bombers get one back.
Thank you, BT, but that's great play by Essendon. They want that expansive game. They want the space. Essendon have been very good all year at in-tight play, but when they get it out with the speed of these guys, that's how they're going to beat St Kilda, not keeping it in close. Great kick out we see. Leroy Jetta, who's getting his hands on the ball. Angus Monfries, nice handle over the back. Gumbleton, very, very smart when he has the ball. Scott Gumbleton has great peripheral vision, and that's how he's able to see his teammate. Runs into goal, and that's great running. He was at half back and tracked that ball all the way down Atkinson, and that's a nice reward for very, very hard running.
Tried to get that one up into the 3rd tier as well to the Bomber fans who have piled into this venue in their thousands here on a Sunday afternoon. Umpire McBurney, a perfect bounce in the middle. Watson just having a bit of trouble getting hold of it. Eventually got a 3 out of it. Fisher 10 disposals this quarter. How many is that for Watson, Hurdy?
That's only 1 this quarter, BT, or this will be his 2nd. I think it's coming back to Howlett, who is being held, but that's 8 for the game. So Lenny Hayes certainly on top of Watson at the moment.
Watson goes inside 50, the head again, up they rise, Hill in front. Davey fighting hard. He's been instrumental in a couple of challenges forward as Elwyn Davey. Just under 6 remaining in this first half.
What I would do with Brent Stanton, Jared, if you're trying to teach him how to play, is I'd tell him to get in the middle of the pack every time the ball's there and get your head over the ball, not just off the pack where he's playing at the moment.
Gilbert went without it. Now Montaigne's got a bit of time here. Under some Bomber pressure though. Prisnall, the turnover, unusual for the Saints. Prisnall bangs at top of the square. That man Hill's there. At the back was Dawson. Worked him under the ball. Soccer off the ground by Jetta.
Great goal. And
Miracle goal.
Hasn't hurt himself. What a goal. Not many blokes can bend it back from there. And BT, what happens every time St Kilda kick 2 goals?
Leroy Jetta Oh, the Bombers step forward.
Well, it's a good bit of creative thinking here by Leroy.
Just having David Hill as the target up forward, I think,
Been a big difference.
enables you to kick the ball up there. And look, at Wisby, every time the big man doesn't have to take the mark, just has to make sure if he doesn't take the mark, the ball hits the ground. And that way, then the Crummers' responsibility to get at the base of their big man and kick the goal. And that'll do Leroy the world of good. He's been in and out of the side for the whole of his career. He needs opportunity to shine at the moment.
Let's just get that replay up again. I reckon there's one thing that Zach needs to do in defence, and that is watch the ball more.
Yeah.
He knows he can see the player from his peripheral vision, but he missed that ball in his defensive punching by about a metre.
5 different goal kickers for the Bombers there. Watson putting his head over at Atkinson again into space. That's where James Hird wants the ball for the Bombers. Here's Winderlick. Went to ground with it. Now it's a 2-on-1 Saints way. Quickly equaling the numbers was Howlett. Ball didn't come out. Eventually it does, and I think we'll have a ball up.
Herdy, we spoke to Matty Knights before the game about Essendon's young midfield. They're really standing up at the moment. You know, St Kilda have got Montaigne, Hayes, Dalsano all in the midfield, but the young Bombers are doing some really good jobs at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They're matching them very well. Obviously, Lenny Hayes having a lot of the ball, but the Bombers doing well.
There's the Gwilt mark at halfback. There's wide to Montaigne. Chip around the corner, Del Santo. Ozzy coming for a spell on the bench just in front of us as Del Santo's got it on the wing. Didn't panic, little chip over the top, did well Dempsey. Because the present up from Fisher was very good, and Dempsey diving to get a fist there.
And you'd think that Fisher would be too big for that matchup, but you're right, Dempsey very good in the spoil, and just got his hand in the right spot.
Love the look of Courtney Dempsey. Ryder with a tap that Del Santo got on the end and banged it into Gardner. Fletcher just hipped him under the ball, didn't he, Jared?
Been doing it for 18 years, and as the Herald Sun had today, BT, the most watched footballer in the history of football. More people have gone to watch him play football than anyone else in the history of football.
What, just him?
Just him.
Gee, that's an unusual statistic. As the ball goes over the line. Can you explain further? I didn't read the article.
Well, there's more people at the grounds that he's played at than any other football. So I think Kevin Bartlett held the record until Dustin Fletcher this game.
You know him really well. You probably know his body reasonably well. How long has he got left, Herdy?
Oh, I think he's got at least next year and maybe a go again. I mean, the guy he's just a super athlete, such a naturally gifted athlete. And, you know, the way he plays, I can't see why he wouldn't go again and then see what happens at the end of next year.
So this is game 320, so in excess of 350 is certainly possible.
Fantastic.
Yep. There's Ryder. Melksham and Watson just running through and getting out the Saints, and Gardner has been...
structural change here, BT. They've pushed Fisher deep and Gardner at centre half forward.
Gardner goes to the Fisher deep option. 2-on-1 standard defensively.
Nice punch. It's got to be in quickly if Fisher is, I think, to take advantage of that.
Yep.
McVeigh with a kick. He's just had the one kick for the day, McVeigh, and that was early in the first quarter, of course, doing the job on Milne. Very much a lockdown defensive role.
It's interesting when you watch McVeigh on Milne in this game. Normally McVeigh loves running off halfback. He has not left Milne's side once. I think he's got the been told by the coach, do not leave his side.
Fletcher dropped the mark and then tried to backheel it out, but this is danger because not many Bomber numbers there, although Hocking made it really, really difficult for Jones. He'll end up with the ball and just the fiddle and the fumble there. In the end, here's Monfrey supporting. Now at the back, here's Myers. Found Watson, who wants to go over the top to Hocking. Needs us to set up. Got it. Here's the little man, Davey. Got it over the top here. Don't tell me Jenner's going to kick another one, or is it Winderlick? It's Zaharakis, in fact. Third time lucky. And the Bombers, unbelievably, have hit the front by 3 points.
St Kilda really need to close Essendon down and deny them the space. Every time Essendon get that space, they get a shot at goal. Just run through the midfield. Joe Watson and Hocking both free without an opponent anywhere near them. Too many Essendon players running through. Alwyn Davey free, and then Zaharakis free. There wasn't a St Kilda player within 5 metres of each of those players we've called. St Kilda can't afford to let Essendon run free through the midfield, or they'll get beaten tonight.
Yeah, a lot of it emulated from a fumble on half forward where Fletcher looked like he was going to lose the possession. Clint Jones grabbed hold of it, and everybody just ran to support. And then what they didn't think would happen. There was a turnover, and then all the Bomber players were free up the ground.
Paddy Ryder getting off the ground, the rucks. It's the second time he's come backwards to Joe Watson. Unfortunately, Joe couldn't hang on to the ball.
Back in front, Cozzy.
Hawker.
And Cozzy, it looked as if Fletcher had it covered from the rear end.
That is the highest Cozzy has been and actually grabbed one, probably in his career.
Big grab from Justin Kazitsky.
Michael Hurley, right in the middle of his number 18.
It's a ripper.
Terrific grab, and that'll do his confidence no end of good. Justin Kazitsky, he hasn't been jumping the ball with any confidence for the year. Great to see a player like him getting up so high.
And for his third goal, more importantly, he looks intent. 30 out directly in front, and he misses.
Would have been a good double act. Hasn't been able to complete it though.
What a fantastic grab from Justin Kazitsky. And that was the goal much needed by the Saints, because the Bombers have got 3 in a row, and Gilbert is going to give them another opportunity. Little squeezer. Got there, Winderlich.
Oh, danger here.
They open up, but getting back is Dawson. Couldn't get the kick over the top to Hill, who was on.
Good positional play there by Zach Dawson.
Kick should have been better, Jared.
Yeah.
Tanya. There in the middle is Geary. Right in the middle of Etihad.
McAvoy now has gone deep for the Saints. They're throwing it around each and every time, which has allowed Fisher to get up the ground.
Fisher did really good. Around the corner to Baker.
Still got Kazitsky deep in the square against Hurley. And Gardner. They're going as tall as they can, the Saints, trying to expose it. Surely the long bomb's got to come.
Like a basketball that's feeling the shot at the moment, Cozzy. He just wants an opportunity, reckons he can get it done, but
fast breaks on if they can win this footy here, the Bombers.
Wilt held it up brilliantly.
It's when they're at their most dangerous, when there's an unlikely turnover, as we nearly saw there. There was about a dozen Bombers in the starters box, and they would have just done the Roadrunner trip.
So the Bombers with a 2-point lead, surprisingly. They have just stayed in this game. Here's Cozzy again. Fletcher did well. Knocked the ball loose. Cozzy with the follow-up. Got it out. Hocking. Fletcher. The Bombers bring it out to the Dockland side of the ground. Monfries needs a good bounce off his shin. And the Saints pressing here in the last minute.
It's in Kilda, 210 disposals to Essendon 145. It's a hell of a lot more of the ball, Jared, for the scores to be so close.
Yeah, you're right. I think St Kilda have been, using it in defence a hell of a lot to get it through.
Now, the runner's been out, so they'll know roughly the time, but the kick wasn't good from Monfries. Snyder. Saints an opportunity here. Snyder. 17 seconds. Fletcher.
Well, he's better than that, Adam Snyder. A, I thought he should have marked the ball.
Exactly.
And B, just the long bomb. I know they've got some tools down there, but he was smart enough to look up and pinpoint something.
Fletcher to Hocking. And there's the half-time siren. A very, very interesting quarter of football. The Bombers kick 5. The Saints got 3. Injury to Hooker. And at the moment, the Bombers by 2 points over the Saints. The play being stolen by Milne, and this is the guy that doesn't miss. Bad blue for the Bombers. The little man Davey steps on the gas. Handball over the top to Collier. Had to go back. Graham did well. Hocking up this one. Hocking on his favourite left side. A morale lifter for the Bombers. At the back was Dawson. Worked him under the long sock off the ground by Shatter.
Great goal on it.
Miracle goal.
Half-time at Etihad Stadium. And the Saints just have lost their grip on the match. The Bombers fought back particularly well in the last 15 minutes to lead 6-4 40 to 5-8 38. Cozzy's taken a big fly. He's also kicked a couple of goals. Hill and Atkinson have kicked one apiece. Watson, a quiet second quarter but dominant in the first, but Del Sando and Gilbert getting plenty of the ball for the Saints. James, let me just take you through an amazing statistic. Contested possessions, the Saints are leading. Overall possessions, tackles, clearances, bounces, marks, shots at goals. The Saints are winning everything on the board.
Except
the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's an amazing result. I mean, Essendon, their counter-attacking play has been fantastic. I think St Kilda have been very good and dominant around the packs and in certain parts of the game and had a lot of the ball across half-back. But just when Essendon have had the expansive game and able to spread, they've kicked the goals in the counter-attack and hurt St Kilda in that way.
And they look as if they can continue to hurt them, which is going to make it a very good second half. Before the match, Hurdy, we noted some of the key points, and the one thing you wanted Essendon to do was move the ball on quickly. How'd you see it?
Yeah, and I think they did. I think they moved the ball on very quickly and in a fantastic fashion, and get that space. Essendon play better in space. They've been good at the contested possession. They've been good in the tackling all year, but here we see Owen Davey getting the ball over here to Collier, who missed the ball, but then Hocking just broke through the tackle and kicked a fantastic goal. And that's where Essendon been kicking their goals, in the expansive play out in space. Here again, we see Monfries get it out. Gumbleton, fantastic vision as he normally does, kicks the ball down, and Atkinson is able to kick the goal. If Essendon are to win, they need more of this quick movement to break through St Kilda's defensive lines.
They've certainly been very effective on that fast break move. Whether or not they can do it enough, I guess we'll have to wait and see. For St Kilda coming in, Ross Lyon said they wanted to win the contested ball, but also the tackles, and you'd have to say that the players have delivered.
Yeah, they have. Their tackling pressure's been great, and their contested possession's been great. But they're not in front, and I think that they've got to work out their forward line structures a little bit better. I know Ross was keen to say it's not all about the forward line, but they've done what he's asked. But just at the moment, I don't think their forward line's delivering for them.
And what about the Saints' good players? If we take a look at this contested possession and tackling pressure,
and look, that's as good as you get in the game of footy at the moment. I mean, tackling has just gone up and up and up every year in football, and again, it's at a high standard.
Del Sano Montagna were under the microscope at the end of last week after their big loss.
Yep.
Their good players had to play well today, and in the main, they've done particularly well. I think Joey Montagna could do a little bit better. Stephen Milne probably a little bit quiet, but if you look at Goddard, Del Sano was superb in the first half, and Lenny Hayes, of course, they've delivered.
Yeah, there's been a mix. I mean, Del Sando's been good. Montagna's got a couple of hard knocks. Lenny Hayes had a lot of the ball. But Mark McVeigh's done a great job on Stephen Milne. It's interesting to watch McVeigh in this game at the moment. Normally he's an attacking half-back line player. He's out for one thing today, and that's to keep Stephen Milne to as minimum of goals as possible.
Zach Dawson's been fullback for the Saints for a couple of years. Just a coaching point on this one. Take us through it, because...
Well, you've got to watch the ball, Jared. In any game of football, you've got to watch the ball, and we don't quite see it here when he's contesting against David Hill. But if he had have had his eyes on the ball, you wouldn't have seen it get over the back. But Leroy Jetta, he's got his opportunity today and kicked a nice goal there.
Yeah, Zach Dawson, he'll take a look at it. No doubt, no, he's going to have to punch the ball. Nick Rewald down in the rooms. He'd be talking it up. They are under the pump here, the Saints forward line. And the Bombers are in a terrific position. We'll have BT on the other side of the break with a look at some of the big little things of the round so far.
The Bombers by 2 points as we're about to start the second half. There's the back six for the Saints as they're ready to go. Let's go down to Rowan Smith at ground level.
Thanks, BT. Well, just a little bit of a quick injury update for you. St Kilda, bad news for them. Jason Cram limped off the ground just at the end of that second quarter with the left hamstring, so he'll take no further part in the game. You can see him there icing it up. Also spoke to the Essendon medical staff about Cale Hooker as well. They seem to think it is a grade 1 hamstring tear. And he will miss 3 weeks. It looked a little bit more serious than that, and he's actually on crutches. He's just icing that up as we speak, but he's on crutches. He can't walk on that one, boys, so might think that he might be out for a little bit longer than that.
St Kilda player went to give him one then when he did that hamstring hooker and then realised he was injured and just pulled up a bit.
It's very nice, wasn't it? Interesting second half coming up here, boys. I think the Bombers will be buoyed by their great second half of the second quarter. St Kilda need to get back in the game and get some run across half-back line.
Yeah, they kicked the last 3 goals of that second quarter, Hurdy. In 7 minutes, those 3 goals came. Before that, St Kilda dominated with 3 of the 4 goals. There's Blake in defence.
Well, you'd reckon if they're going to win, Paddy Ryder has to produce a much better quarter than his half, or his first half.
Yeah, look, his last 5 minutes I thought was very good, particularly in the middle of the ground. He got up high for the ruck contest, but needs to get more ball around the ground, Jared.
Opportunity for Goddard, who kept his feet there. Handball back inside of the run of Gilbert, and the Saints straight into attack. Good looking ball as well. Cozzy had it in front and had it really covered. Now Dempsey just tidying up McVeigh. He's
There
had
was
the job on Milne all day.
significant difference there, BT. When they kicked it long to Cozzy, there was 4 people at his feet, all St Kilda players.
Big focus at half-time, I'd imagine, Jerry.
Big numbers here at the moment for the Saints. Gardner to Montagna. Just a quick little one around the corner. Gee, that was good closing speed there. I think it was from Howlett. The boy from Peel Thunder, of course, won the best and fairest there last year. Handball into Gardner. Goes with a sloppy kick, but nevertheless effective. Got it to Fisher. Left foot kick around the corner. He's pulled it back too much. Fisher.
And then the instincts of a pure forward, aren't they, BT? You know, you think of Nick Riewoldt in that position would kick those ones, but Ben Howlett, been very impressed with him and Melton, the way they attack the ball. They're not big bodies. They certainly throw their bodies at the ball with a lot of desperation.
Another talent coming out of the coastal WA town of Mandurah. There is an opportunity with Watson, of course. I'm from Mandurah, Hurdy.
I was going to say, any
aware of that.
you close to Mandurah?
There's
When was the
Watson.
last time you went back there, BT?
Every couple of months, Hurdy. Look at the kick. Turnover, Saints, Fisher. 55 out. Can he get the journey? I think he can on the run, but he won't now because he backed up a bit. It's a high ball. Cozzy's got it lined up. In he comes, the big man.
Once again, there were 4 people at the front of Cozzy. I think it has been a focus at half-time. We'll see if it can produce some goals.
Another opportunity. Saints not scared to bang it in. Almost clubbed it. Fisher got it. With a bit of help from Cozzy, I reckon.
Jeez, he started brilliantly. Sam Fisher up forward.
He has, and Michael Hurley, I don't think went as hard at that contest. You probably could have think that Fletcher was going to have the spoil. So we see there's the spoil, the Kaczynski one. We'll just see whether Hurley goes as hard as he probably could have. No, backed out of the contest thinking Fletcher had the spoil. That's always a mistake as a backman. You've got to commit if your forward's going to commit.
Fisher to put the Saints back in front early in the third quarter. He is directly in front and shouldn't make the mistake from there, and he doesn't. Saints back in front by 5 points early in the third.
Interesting matchup, obviously with Cale Hooker going off halfway through. I think it was the second quarter that now Hurley, or halfway through the first quarter, sorry. So you see Fletcher, he's been all over Kaczynski most of the day. This ball will come up and Hurley will have a chance to spoil. When you're going for the ball as a backman, you've got to go if your forward's going to go. Hurley thinking Fletcher was going to get it and get the crumbs. That's a mistake he won't make again today. He's a very smart player, Michael Hurley, and he'll learn from that.
So Fisher giving the Saints the advantage early in this third quarter. And we know what happens when St Kilda kick 2 in a row. They've got 1 now, but when they kick 2 in a row, it's normally a feast for the Bombers. As James Hurd pointed out earlier.
It's only happened twice, BT.
Howlett's been shifted onto Lenny Hayes.
There's an opportunity for the Saints to work it forward again. Nice mark, wasn't it? Jones used the body well. Gave it to the runner Hayes, who can straighten up. Hammers it home from 50.
Oh.
There's the 2 for the Saints.
That's a great goal. Great finish by Lenny Hayes, Jared. And, you know, Hayes is such a great player in close. We probably don't give him the credit he's due for his kicking at times.
Well, it was just a brilliant extraction. Nice knockout there by Joe Montagna, and then a good hand, a little glove. And Howlett, well, he will learn. You've got to get on your bike. You just can't ball watch. Lenny Hayes knew where the ball was going, and he was there about 15 metres before Howlett even knew where he was.
That's a great goal. It's speed, top speed, on the 50 running through. Terrific shot, and another goal for St Kilda, which puts them 11 points in front.
Huge lift required from the Bombers. Key midfield 4. Ryder, Watson.
All right, well, here it is.
And Winderlich, who hasn't got anywhere near enough of the footy today.
The Saints have got their couple. And the Bombers, according to statistics in this game, will respond.
Well, they're getting blown away in every statistic, the Bombers. They're not winning contested footy. They're not winning the tackles. Not winning the possession. So they're doing well to hang in the game. See if St Kilda, with that level of disposal, can get further in front.
And not getting much of the ball, as those stats indicated in this third quarter. Can't get their hands on it at the moment, the Bombers. Hez Snyder stepped up, pursued by a gang of Bomber players. Handball through the hands, and I think it was Monfries went without it. Now they shovel it backwards, looking for a bit of time, the Saints. Look at all the Bombers' numbers around the ball here. They've got nothing forward, though. Ryder Has to just hold it a moment as Melksham goes wide, and here's Gumbleton. Look at Monfries is clear. Goes with a handball to Daver. He's got to get around Baker. He does. Handball's on. Melksham, the run past player, goes over the top. Hill's got it in the goal square. It's a goal. James Hearn, you are unbelievable. You have absolutely nailed this game here today.
Well, BT, it'll be interesting to see who wins, but every time St Kilda put the pressure on and get that 2-goal lead, Essendon come back, and they come back through expanding the game and creating space. Melchin here with a nice disposal over to Gumbleton, who again thinks through well. Could have blazed away, gave the handball across Davey, and then Melchin, what great run. He's run from half-back, had 2 inclusions into the sequence, and then David Hill kicks the goal, and I think, is that his third, BT, or only his second? It's only his second, but definitely been a focal point up forward for Essendon today.
Yep, Hill today has kicked 2 goals, 1.
Double change for the Bombers, and in particular Joe Watson off, so Windelich has now gone into the middle, and Myers also with big responsibility on his shoulders.
I think it was lying on his back, just letting Paddy know that didn't appreciate the over-the-top work there. And here we go again. Gardner doing the whack work. The clearance for the Saints goes in towards Milne. McVeigh was there on top of him, and a free kick to the Bombers in the back half. Early.
Just watching McVeigh and Milne go for that footy, he's incredibly strong, Milne. He doesn't look it, but in a body-on-body situation, he was stronger than McVeigh.
Strong legs, strong core, strong hips, Stephen Milne.
Hocking to Dempsey. Thought he was going to go over the top. I reckon Dempsey thought he was going to go over the top. In the end, it worked for the Bombers. Dempsey kicks to Monfries. Wasn't a great-looking kick. Monfries now confronts the oncoming tackler in Gilbert, who, by the way, has only had the 1 tackle in this game. I think with the rugby background, he might have got a few more, but the Bombers messed that up a little. Well,
it came down to the kick. It was a mung.
Yeah, but he lost the handle of the ball, Jared. That first instinct, the clean handling of the ball that you need to have at this level to make something out of nothing. As we see here, he just took his eyes off the ball and just let it slip through.
It's good work there by Courtney Dempsey. He was being sucked up the ground to try and allow Snyder to come off the bench, and yet he was all over it.
Yep.
He was right onto it.
There's Ryder over the top of Gardner with a nice swatting punch down. In the end, Myers got hold of it. Melksham really been impressive today. Hocking on his favoured side again. The ball goes in towards Gumbleton. A double snap at it, couldn't get it. Baker wrapped up in the tackle. It'll be pinned. He had no prior opportunity.
Great tackling in the forward 50. That's where you stop St Kilda's run from. They stop them getting a handball out. Gumbleton there, hands on the ball. Great spoil by Fisher there. Gilbert, sorry.
Ryder, little knockdown. And here's Davey. Look at the acceleration and the foot evasiveness. Prismal doesn't have great awareness. High ball. Hill's there. Monfries crashed into the pack without regard. It spills to Jeddah. Around the corner to Gumbleton. Thought he could have got onto the drop punt and gone for home there. And the Saints will tidy this up with Baker and co involved.
Well, it's disappointing because David Hill's effort was superb. Set up the handball. Should have been a goal.
Handball over the top wasn't great.
That's right.
Harmony able to get it back to Joey Montagna. Gardner and Hill did well without infringing Hill, but Gardner takes him on. Handball over the top. Wanted the 1-2, Gardner. Gave it off to Hine. Hine out in front, and Fisher's got really good claws.
There's a rule between footy. That's you don't give it back to the backman for the 1-2.
Here is Fisher.
Much better work from Hine and pushed in deep.
Marking the ball out in front.
Yeah, don't give it to the ruckman.
Didn't quite get there. Nice decision by Hine in the end to kick it to Fisher, and Fisher to launch one from just outside 50. In he comes. Kick looks pretty good. Just offline. Back into play for the Bombers quickly. Watson hemmed in on the boundary line. Geary didn't go at him. There's the space down in the end, Fletcher. He's got Windelich if he wants, and he ignores that, and now wants to go to Courtney Dempsey. Dempsey can go around the corner. High ball. Gumbleton did well, and he just growing in stature. Gumbleton kick around the corner, not so good.
Lets you down with a kick like that. They had options down the ground, and those sort of kicks gives St Kilda a chance to go back into their forward line.
Paul calls play on, didn't go off his mark, I don't know why. Blake.
I'll bring it wide. They've got Del Santo over this other side if they can get it around the Essendon zone, which they should.
And Stanton has to work really hard here, and Dempsey's got to push up from behind.
They've done well, Essendon, to hem them in, but then left Farrah Ray free on the other side of the ground.
Here's Ray. Really intriguing game of football at the moment. The 14 goals kicked collectively in this one today.
Interesting challenge for Michael Hurley. Jared played the last few weeks up forward, gone to half-back, and he's been okay, but his opponent's had some shots at goal.
Yeah, he's been belted in his first part of the third quarter. Need to tighten right up.
Dempsey with a trick handball over the top almost.
It's the bloke.
Here's Winderlich.
He's the one who sets him alight.
Gumbleton needs to handball, and he does. Zaharakis, the round on the left, high ball. Gumbleton's got protection from behind, taking the mark. Did well, Winderlich, just to walk in the path of the defender.
Yeah, and ran hard. He was the one that had that possession through the middle of the ground. Ran an extra 50 to 60 metres and protected Gumbleton. And you're right, Jared, he is a player that is so important for Essendon. We see here running through the middle of the ground with speed, cuts it up, and you'll see it in the top of your screen here, protecting for Gumbleton. If you can run like that, you'll be a very effective player.
Well, the game he produced against Hawthorn was as good as any of the midfield games I've seen this year.
Gumbleton comes in, a little bit of left to right in this kick, and that's way right. Got to have the guts to aim it at the left goal post from that quadrant of the ground.
His impact was as good as a Judd's or as good as an Ablett. It was just so high quality, and yet it's too high above what his average is.
Good kick from the Saints here, releasing Geary down the line, and he's looking for Snyder in front. Hocking did well. Kept the hands out in front, marked it away from the attempted spoil of Snyder. Gumbleton pushed out of the way by Geary. Gilbert and Goddard. In trouble, Goddard, but had really good composure. Gilbert trying to get through, and eventually they do here, the Saints. Good running by Gilbert, but he's on his wrong right side. Can he kick on that side? He prefers the handball, and they turn it over. Great pressure from the Bombers. A little bit messy from the Saints.
Wait to see this palm by Sam Gilbert. You see he's come from a rugby league background, Jared. He's able just to put the hand out and palm off Brent Stanton, keep him out and stop him tackling.
Great look at the boundary umpire in action there.
Jeez, he had hold of his arm there magnificently. Watson on Lenny Hose.
He did, didn't he? And they've earned themselves a possession out of it.
Maybe Gary Ablett's had one or two better than...
I was going to say, that's a pretty good call, a pretty big call.
Yeah, that's a risky kick backwards here for the Bombers, but they make it work. Here's Myers and Fletcher. Look how quickly Armitage mans the mark. Fletcher with a penetrating ball out wide that Monfrey says to Hurley, let it go, it's mine. Monfrey's around the corner to McVeigh, needs to be good over the head. Did Ray infringe? No.
In the last 5 minutes, you've watched McVeigh starting to work Stephen Milne. He's been hesitant to do it all quarter, or all game, sorry, but in the last 5 minutes, just trying to work Milne up the ground and try and expose him on the rebound.
Blake and the Winderlich tackle. So a 5-point lead with the Saints with 10 remaining in the third. Game at a bit of a stalemate situation here at the moment. Just the 2 goals to the Saints in this quarter, 1 to the Bombers. There's the dangerous Monfries. He was clean this time. Got the handball to Collier, who got clobbered. And Montagna. Baker. High chipping ball. It'll get there to McAvoy. He gives it off to the run of Hayne. Hayne with the ball up towards Kazitsky. Fletcher did well. Dempsey hemmed in, got it back to Fletcher, who goes down the line to the contest of Hill and Blake. In the end, the Saints are coming back with another wind-up. Here's McAvoy again. Let's Hayes, who's just a running machine. Snyder goes the one-on-one with Cozzy, and Cozzy's beaten Fletcher to the ball on that occasion, but he's very deep. He's come off his mark, so the umpire's called play on. Kazitsky the high ball. Dawson against Jeddah. Bit of a mismatch there. The Bombers do well to get out of trouble. Ryder's got to keep it rolling. Here come the Saints in Ray and Jones. And holding the ball, threw it out. Tough call against Farron Ray.
Great defensive spoil by Michael Hurley. He came over the top. He learned his lesson from the early one with Sam Fisher. Came over the top and just poleaxed the whole lot of them.
And Paddy Ryder should actually go and help and give him a little bit of a tap because he let Zach Dawson go then, boys.
That's it, Andrew.
He did indeed. Rowan Smith there. And so this game just waiting for an error to open it up. Or some good play even. Dawson high. We'll throw it in right in the interchange gates area where Goddard will come on and Farron Ray off. There's the much talked about Zach Dawson.
Rowan, we see Milne on the bench now. Is he okay? Just coming off as part of the rotation?
Yeah, just definitely part of the rotation because Mark McVeigh's been doing a really good job. As you said, Hurdy, he's got to take a little bit of a risk now, Mark. They've got to win this game, Essendon, so he's got to get up the ground.
Thought they might have taken McVeigh with him just to spell him as well, Smithy.
Well, here comes Milne back onto the ground as we speak.
Okay. There's Goddard. Del Santo. Howlett was there. McAvoy. Over the back to Montagna. They're out here, the Saints. Baker pulled the kick a little bit nicely. Cozzy, handball, effective. McQualter, smothered there by Myers. Myers on the ball. McQualter went hard at it, did really well through heavy traffic. Ground level, the Bombers scrapping it out here, and they're under enormous St Kilda pressure.
You have to handball the ball and get the punch it to handball. Have a look at this one of Nick Del Santos. That is a throw.
It is,
and I reckon
that's hard to pick up.
There's so many throws in the game at the present time in tight that it's almost impossible to pick up.
And they actually practice those almost throw handballs in tight. Really hard to adjudicate, I agree, Jared. Here's Winderlich. Davey
Still has to be punched.
really wanted to break them open in the middle, gave it to Hill. Hill with a long ball, Ryder. Dawson misread it. Ryder can run to the open goal. Tucks it under the arm, turn around, goal. The Saints have bitten back here and hit the front by a point. The Bombers.
And it's really interesting play. I'd like to watch the way Paddy Ryder used his body and just held his ground. But then the angle he ran to kick the goal, Jared. He opened up the goals and almost ran parallel to the goal square. As we see Owen Davey, who's done this 3 or 4 times this game, creates the space with his run. And David Hill, a nice long kick to the Paddy Ryder's favourite side. Zach Dawson's got to make body contact. Watch Ryder here. Made his angle a lot better. A lot of players don't do that. Not a great kick, but Zach Dawson has to hit the body. The first rule of the defender is hit the body, make it hard for the attacking player to take the mark. I think that will be looked at by Stephen Silvani in the defensive unit during the week, Jared.
Yeah, it's a real problem for Zach. He just loses focus at that critical moment where he either takes his eye off the ball and the man or his eye off the ball.
8th lead change of the game. Bombers by a solitary. And cracking in here as well. Hill's going to kick him wide. Prismal around the corner, got there. 80 metres from his goal. Ryder wants it up there. He's got it exactly where he wants it. Ryder flew. McAvoy did well from behind. Dawson there as well.
Almost a free kick to Ryder there, Boots. Dawson did very well on this occasion to get his body onto Ryder's and get him out of position.
There's McQualter. And an exciting Bombers outfit, challenging one of the big threats for this year, the Saints. Deep into this 3rd quarter. McQualter wrapped up in the hocking tackle. And we'll have a boundary throw in. Hocking asking the question, and the Bomber fans not happy, but he handballed it, I think, in the end. McQualter, let's have a look. Yep, got the handball away, and it wasn't deliberate. It went parallel with the boundary. Opportunity. Collier. Over the top, Myers. Winderlich. Melcham. 30 out, closing. Bombers extend the lead.
One thing I've been impressed with Jake Melcham in his career, we'll talk about the lead up to the goal, but when he gets an opportunity to kick a goal, he kicks it. Terrific disposal of the ball. Adds a level of class that some of the Essendon midfielders don't have with their possessions. He goes at goal and he kicks goals well. You see Collier getting the handball out. And Myers, another handball. Winderlich's been important this quarter, Jared. Got his hands on the ball here, and Jake Melcham under a little bit of pressure. His style, his technique, he's very good with his kicking, but his choice of where he kicks it and his decision-making is exceptional.
Yeah, I might have been a bit over-enthusiastic in the comparison with Judd and Ablett, but I tell you now, this side, when Windelich plays and runs with the footy and cuts the lines, is twice the team they are if he doesn't.
Totally agree. If I was, you'd be getting the ball in his hand at the moment as much as possible.
Bomber fans enjoying it. Biggest Bomber lead of the game, 7 points. Has been that sort of game. The biggest margin either way has been 13 by the Saints. Stanton goes inside. Hill interrupted in his run and approach, and Gwilt sees Del Santo has got space, and that's dangerous when Del Santo has space and time. Armitage, Del Santo over the top.
Jeez, he got out of jail there. Geary did really well.
Montagna spots up the leading Fisher, who surely will get a free for the front on approach from Hurley. Umpire said no. And now Dempsey cracks in. Bombers have got the numbers, but I don't really think they want it to come out of there.
And Stanton looking for the free kick, wanting to find out from the inside.
Watch Fisher here. He gets hit by Hurley, which is probably a free kick. Watch him bounce up. I mean, he's hit right down the middle of it, right down his middle there, straight up. Fantastic play from Fisher. Very hard, tough player.
Gardner couldn't quite control it. Wrapped up in the tackle. Look at him get over Milne.
Great tackle by McVeigh. Missed him on the first occasion, but retarded him enough, then got him the second time.
He's been like a terrier when it comes to Milne today.
He has, and he's picked up 50 as well. Starting to get underneath Stephen Milne's skin there, Mark McVeigh. They actually were teammates in the Essendon reserves back in 1999. And used to play on each other in a couple of practice matches, so know each other's game very well.
And you just also watch Essendon's back line at the moment. They're doing a terrific job, but they've hardly rotated, where St Kilda's forward line have been on and off the bench all quarter.
2 tackles there by McVeigh. We missed the first, and he was just back to his feet magnificently.
And he's coming off the ground, Mark McVeigh. I think, as you said, Rowan, he needs a rest. He's been going the whole game just to some petrol in the tank for the last quarter.
Yeah, Hurley and Fletcher as well. They need a rest because they're nearly out on their feet here.
Here they go, the Bombers again, and dropping the ball. Incorrect disposal decision. Dropping the ball, said the umpire. So Monfries has got it.
Bit of niggle in the game, BT. Both sides realise that there's a lot at stake today.
There is indeed.
I think what you're telling us, Hurdy, is that there's a bit of niggle that goes back between Milne and McVeigh to 2009, or sorry, whenever it was.
1999. There's a little bit, all in good, good fun.
Yeah.
But no, they're two very feisty players, Gerard.
Melksham taking a break.
History, it's called, Hurdy.
Here's Monfries with a kick that could crack the game open from just inside 50. Good looking ball, but to the near side. So an 8-point Bomber lead at the 23-minute mark. Just over 4 remaining in the third.
Nick Del Santo up to 25 possessions. Had 27 possessions last time they met. Already on 25.
This is the bloke that's lifted for them big time.
Fisher quickly back into play here, the Saints, and Montagna to Ray. Ray goes long. Kaczynski's got it back in. Atkinson did it well in the end with a little bit of fear tingled in with it. And now Fletcher tidies that up. Right up.
You've got to think that Kaczynski's got to mark that ball down in BT. I mean, Atkinson's, 6 foot at best.
Yep.
You put your foot and your knee straight into his back and you take the mark.
Absolutely. Howlett told to play on by the umpire, not sure why. Kick around the corner to Davey. Gets on his side, takes Gwilt on, threads the pass to Hill.
Jeez, he's moving well up forward.
And the cost of the turnover by not marking the ball with Kaczynski on the 50-metre line is a shot at goal for David Hill.
Hill looking to play on, gets around on the right. A good-looking kick from Hill. He's got the goal. David Hill with 3 minutes remaining in the third.
It's a nice shot at goal, and David Hill has always been a good shot at goal, and probably better from outside 50 for his third. As we see here, because it's going for the mark. I don't know if it's judgment, Gerard, or I think it is judgment. I think the confidence to actually go at the ball and take the mark caused the rebound out to Paddy Ryder. Ryder out to Howlett, who then steps back and they move it on to David Hill eventually. But that's a terrific kick from where Hill was.
Could it be footwork? He was taking such long strides that he doesn't have the capacity to put in those little ones to just get himself in the perfect position to mark, and then he's overstriding just as he leaps. Because it seems to me that whether it's judgment or just his use of the feet is an issue.
Kicked a couple early in the game, Cozzy, and looked absolutely on fire. Here's a St Kilda free, by the way. Hill, 2 goals in this quarter, 3 for the game, as James pointed out. There's Goddard. Here comes Kaczynski again. This time he jumps high and knee in the back, but couldn't get it.
I think even if you're going to drop it, that's a better way to attack the ball.
Geez, this is a confident go.
This is Collier doing it well, took him on. Prismal's got to go. And an opportunity there as Geary is now driven to the ground by Prismal. Now he sucked it in as he spat it out. Yes, he has. Winderlick a little too firm to Jetta. Jetta's tackling as well. And forces Hayne to let it go. Bomber fans applauding this. With 2:20 in the third remaining. 14-point Essendon lead.
Smithy, what about the body language down on the benches? Yeah, I didn't think it was much.
A little technical problem there at the moment as Winderlick dragged off the ball. In goes Hayes. And we'll ball it up again.
And St Kilda really need the next goal. A 3-goal break to Essendon, or a 20-point break to Essendon with the next goal would be exactly what St Kilda don't want.
Just reminding you that both teams playing a player short, Hooker with a hamstring, Graham with a hamstring will take no further part in this game. So they're down to 3 on the bench. Look at Del Santo. Just really good evasive footwork. Ray with a lovely handball to McWalter. Got Snyder. Snyder can go wide to Jones. Ignores that. Comes back the other way. Milne and McVeigh. What a scrap. Scrap of the day. Milne from the impossible angle.
He's kicked him from there plenty of times. I've been here this year where he's kicked him. And just put under a little bit too much pressure. But the ability to get McVeigh under the ball here and turn, that's what Stevie Milne is so good at. And Gerard, you're talking about his strength there.
Yep. There's
no one in the game that can stop Stephen Milne doing that. Everyone knows that's what he wants to do, but he does it time after time.
Fletcher to Ryder who elevates. Gardner did well, the third man up in the contest.
He's lifted Montagna with plenty of touches this quarter.
Gardner to the dangerous Goddard. Goddard squeezed the handball to Hayes. Misses.
They're waiting for this three-quarter time siren, Essendon boys, because they just look like they're a little bit out of their feet, a little bit slow at the stage.
And it's probably been the criticism, Rowan, of them a little bit this year. They've cost themselves in the last quarter with their fatigue levels.
Yeah, Matty Knight said that they've had a couple of brain fades where they just need to shut down the game. Now they need to get control and just shut basically down for the last minute and a half.
Well, they're getting the numbers off, as you said. Hurley off the half-back line. He gets a rest.
Good commitment by Joe Watson there.
Yep, it was. Gardner, nice hold out of Ryder and tap with the other hand. Here's Jetta, led to the ball by Gilbert. Thumps it high. In front, the Bombers Hocking. That's a push in the back, and he'll get the free or the mark. Hocking.
And they really just got a hold into the ball for a minute to stop St Kilda getting a shot at goal.
Game 31, the runner is out there and has told them about the clock. And there's a 50-metre penalty against Milne again.
That was a massive bonus.
St Kilda, the last goal was the 3rd-minute mark of this quarter. As Lenny Hayes' great play. It's almost been a quarter without the Saints kicking a goal.
So this gives them an opportunity to score. A little close to the man on the mark there, I think, is Stanton. He'll just need to pull up a bit, and he does. He goes backwards, and now in the hands of Myers to Monfries. And not tempted to go for home, the Bombers, even though they're in the middle of the ground. Wanting to control this lead and margin of 13 points. They think it's a handy margin as we head to three-quarter time with under 25 seconds. Fletcher, gee, every kick's nervy, isn't it? The Saints are ready to pounce. Oh boy, Myers with a kick to Hocking that just gave Snyder just a sniff. And now Hocking is that 15. Player says yes. So they've wound the clock down nicely, the Bombers. And we have got an enthralling last quarter coming up. Live and exclusive on Fox Sports. The Bombers in front by 13. They trailed by 5 at quarter time. It's a cracking game. Stay with us. We're back with more of this in a moment. Nice mark, wasn't it, Jonesy? used the body well. Gave it to the runner Hayes, who could straighten up. Hammers it home from 50. There's the 2 for the Saints. Look at Montfrees, it's clear. Goes with a handball to Daver. He's got to get around Baker. He does. Handball's on. Melcham, the run past player, goes over the top. Hill's got it in the goal square. It's a goal. James Hearn, you are unbelievable. You have absolutely nailed this game here today. 4 Bomber goals in a row to finish the third quarter. They lead it by 13 points. 7-11-53 the Saints. 10-6-66. Cossey's got a couple. Hill's got 3. Let's go down to Rowan Smith on the boundary.
Well, BT, Essendon basically, they dominated that third term. The clearances, 11-6, so they're smashing them around the clearances. Also the tackles, 23-11, so that's where they've dominated. When St Kilda got possession, Essendon have been able to lay some effective tackles. They also won the disposals, the contested possessions, the uncontested possessions. So Essendon are on their medal. They're just behind me here talking, and they're very enthusiastic here at three-quarter time. St Kilda are very tight in their huddle, and they're obviously speaking how they can get back into this game. But I tell you what, boys, it's a fantastic feeling down here. Can't wait for this last quarter.
Get the feeling Smithy thinks the Bombers are home. It would certainly have to be, if you knew what was in their petrol tank, then I reckon you could make a more confident prediction.
Yeah, he made a very good observation at the end of that third quarter, Rowan, about the Essendon players out on their feet in the back line. I think that's the only query. If they have got the petrol in the tank, then they will be able to go on and win this game. And you noticed something interesting at three-quarter time.
Yeah,
Jared.
we saw Steve Silvani run straight to Zach Dawson. I think this is what he's worried about. Zach goes up, he's nowhere near the ball, and the fact that he doesn't punch it,
but didn't have his eyes on the ball for a start,
means that it just leaks across the back. Now, he in fact didn't watch the footy, and again, he comes to the man, misses the ball, misses the player, opens it up. In that last 3 or 4 metres, he has got to make better decisions, either by way of keeping it on the eyes on the ball or by taking the body, as you said. And there's Sos just laying down the law.
Yeah, it's very important for the education of the player to go out and try and talk to them. And as a backman, it's very hard to know whether you actually got your eyes on the ball, eyes on the man. It's that sort of, you're in a bit of two minds here. And as you see, Carl Hooker on the bench, out for the rest of the game, injured his hamstring in the first quarter. Looks like a serious one, more than just the average garden variety hamstring.
Well, Jason Graham also is a player that they're missing, and it's a question of run now. Graham gives them so much run. When he was missing a couple of weeks ago, the Saints struggled as well. There he is. He looks like he's going to be out with at least 3 weeks, you would think, with a hamstring. So the Saints have got the job in front of them right now, because the Bombers they're out early. The Saints held their huddle a lot longer, and the belief going through the Bombers camp right now on the back of their win in round 20 last year, I suspect, is one that they believe truly they're going to win this match.
And contrasting game styles, BT. St Kilda having 320 possessions to Essendon 241. That's a lot more of the ball. 80 possessions more than Essendon. But what happens with Essendon on the counter-attack when they try to expand and get the ball out in space? That's where they've cut St Kilda up. And if Essendon have the legs to run and play that style of game for the first 15 or 20 minutes, I think they'll get over the top in this game.
The Saints have all but 6 players in double-figure possessions in this one. There's Hill and Dawson. That'll happen in the goal square, that battle. And it's worked pretty well for the Bombers. Hill's kicked 3 today. Here we go with the last quarter that should be really entertaining. The Bombers holding a slender lead of 13 points. That's been the biggest lead by either side today.
Gilbert's gone forward, which means you'd expect that Fisher's in defence.
Hurley's got him. You can see that matchup.
And Milne up on the wing.
Well, they're trying it around. They have to try something, whether or not it's Goddard to fall forward or...
I would keep McVeigh on Milne, because I think what Milne will try and do is start on the wing and move forward, and he'll try and lose his man, who at the moment is Prismal.
And he's got him, I'd say, to have Prismal cut in a foot race as well, as Cossey in front knocked it down. Snyder thought about the handball, got it to Gardner. Can the big fella get it on the boot? He does. Boy, doesn't that make a difference when you score in the first 20 seconds of the final quarter to get it back to 7.
Just the start St Kilda wanted, and you watched all the players at the feet of that contest, whether it be small, big. They knew where that ball was going. Kaczynski bringing the ball to ground. Schneider getting the ball over. Disregard the rule, don't handball the ruckman, but very nice play to finish that goal, Gardner.
Now Milne's starting up on the wing again. Crismell's picking him up. Surely you bring McVeigh up
I
with
think
him.
you got him. When you saw in that contest there that Milne was at the base of the play, he's starting there and he's going to go hard forward. I would keep McVeigh on Milne for the rest of the game.
Gardner doing well to get the Saints back within 7, and they're all of a sudden up and about here. It's their home game. They'll lift the roof off with the support they've got here. If they can nudge their noses in front. Gardner again with the win. Hayes with the collision, and now Watson with a kick that was sloppy.
It leaves you in no doubt what he wants, Jared, does he, Lenny Hayes? He just wants that ball time and time again.
Jones, clean. Montagna, high ball. Fletcher and Kaczynski over the back, Dempsey.
Elwyn Davey at full forward with Sammy Fisher. If they can get the fast break going.
Look at this. The kick splitting the field to Ryder. Prismell's now got a hurt with a hitting target.
There's Elwyn.
Over the top of hill. Dawson did well. Leroy Jetta's there. Didn't have a lot of the ball. It spills loose. They're going to go forward again. Here the Bombers. Watson just pulls the kick to Hill. He'll line up for goal number 4.
I'm not sure you can leave Zach Dawson on David Hill either, Jared. I think that he just lost him in play there. He's able to lose him around the back of the pack. Watson, a very nice kick. But Zach Dawson totally lost his man as Hill ran backward into the 50.
This will mean he will have kicked 3 of their last 5 goals if successful. Hill from inside the arc. A very deliberate David Hill. Good looking kick, straightening. It's a goal. Hill's got 4.
And he deserves 4. He's played very well, provided a target for them up forward. This wasn't his typical contested pack mark, but what David Hill is a very, very smart footballer. He knows where to run for the space, whether he's playing as a ruckman or in this case as a forward. You see, he goes for the contest. Zach Dawson follows the ball, and now Hill he's going to duck out the back of the pack after he plays this contest. We see him duck out the back. Dawson still at the face of the ball, and that's how he's able to get free.
Great vision, perfect story told by James Hird there, and Hill as a result of that kicks his 4th, and the Bombers by 13.
He's put a lot of faith in Zach Dawson, Ross Lyon, over the last 18 months, and he continues to back him in. But there'll come a time in this match, maybe, whether he's got to come up with another option. Who would it be, James? Is it Fisher?
Right, a superb.
Well, Fisher's been very good for him up forward. I mean, you have to say Zach Dawson's done the job for him more than not over those 18 months. So he's been well justified in backing him in.
Montagna to Gardner. And Ryder mans the mark as Gardner waits for the troops. He can go long. Cozzie's got the sit here. Fletcher's coming late. Kaczynski!
That's what we've been after all day, isn't it, Jerry? We've been talking all day about going for the mark, putting the knee in the back of your opposition and putting those big hands up, and good on him. That's a fantastic contested mark.
Well, he had that all the way, and Fletcher couldn't quite time the fist, and Cozzie will line up for his 3rd goal of the day. He kicked the first 2 of the game. And this one is directly in front, 30 metres out. Just trim the margin back to 7. We're right behind it.
Great
Looks
kick.
pretty good, doesn't it? And they're back within 7, the Saints.
The thing about playing on Dustin Fletcher, which Justin Kaczynski has for most of the day, is Justin's got such great closing speed and great extension with his arms that if you're not going at it full force like he did on this occasion to take that mark, Dustin's always going to get you. If you try and push and shove, you have to go with that full extension, and he did on this occasion. What I love here, Jared, is the judgment and the ability to put your knee in his back and jump like you would in the schoolyard of kick to kick.
Well, if he can pluck another 1 or 2 of those this quarter, he may well prove the difference. And he's another one Ross Lyon has continued to defend to the death. And today he's doubled his season's goal tally. He's up to 6, started with 3. So she's on the line here for the Saints. And, of course, the Bombers, if their season's to go anywhere near emulating last year's deeds.
Good clearance for the Bombers. Here's Monfries, the run of Melksham, who got the initial clearance out of the middle, by the way. Look at that on the left boot as well. Goes high to Hill to an open goal square. Got a rolling bounce.
When you're a midfielder, Jared, in your heyday and you change direction like that, it often put the forward out of position. You see that kick went to the non-favourite side of David Hill. You have to be careful of cutting back. The forwards aren't all out of position.
Fisher sees something he likes out wide, and why not with Snyder? Can do it either side of the body. Gilbert, there's the man gone forward, pointed out by Jared Healy. And he sinks the slipper again, Cozzie. Gardner, Fletcher can't get to him because Cozzie held him out.
He did it very well, Cozzy. Almost didn't disguise it enough, but that was terrific team play to hold Dustin Fletcher out, and Michael Gardner almost took an uncontested mark inside his own 50.
Have a look at this. Watch Cozzy get between he and Gardner. Did it well, didn't he?
Yep, did it very well.
Gardner comes in. This to get the Saints within 2 points. It's there. The Saints are back in the game big time.
Well, there are some at St Kilda that believed that when Sam Gilbert came to the club, he was always going to play the role he's playing right now. But it's just that he's been so good across that half-back line, and that there was no real need for him to play the hit-up role because of Nick Riewoldt, that he stayed and developed across the half-back line. And yet today, we're seeing maybe an experiment that may just unlock a number of answers for them going forward this season until Nick Riewoldt comes back.
He's certainly got the athleticism, the ability and the lateral movement you need as a forward. I mean, that lateral movement as a forward, we're seeing Jonathan Brown probably not having his groin injury at the moment, and that's stopping him doing certain things. You need to be able to change directions and move in more than just a straight line. Attacking footy here. We've seen 4 goals collectively kicked in 6 minutes at the start of this last quarter. Gardner's kicked 3 for the game and 2 in the quarter.
Because there's no doubt the transition of Fisher forward has really hurt them. It's hurt them with their run and their rebound out of that back line. And whilst I know Gilbert also does it, he doesn't do it quite as well as Fisher.
Goddard. There's Winderlick. Davey wants it. Give it to the man with the quick feet. Handball back over the top to Winderlick. Can go inside to Monfries. Hammered. Caught in the tackle. Got rid of it. Opportunity. Myers. Kicked an unbelievable goal. No, he hasn't.
Great match.
On the score. As Blake says, how do you do?
Great running here from Gilbert. He's pushed up hard. He's given an option. He'll be off on his left.
Now he's got Milne way down ground. Dempsey's going to work the angle really nicely and cut off about 5 metres.
McVeigh back on Milne now as Milne finishes his spell up on the wing and goes forward.
Montaigne's one they need to look at too, Hurt. He had 12 touches in the third. He's already had 3 in the last here in the early stages.
Goddard free over the back if they can get it over to him.
Jones, they went the one in front. Look at Lenny Hayes' commitment to win the loose ball there.
And Montaigne's now the leading disposal winner on the ground, BT, with 28 after a relatively slow start. You're right, he has certainly picked up his work rate and winning a lot more of the ball.
I'm asking the question, who's got him? The Bombers there. Here's Hayes stripped. Good tackle by Howard allowed. Rider to go to Monfries.
Better from Zach. What a magnificent move.
Good read.
Well and truly, he'd be under the pump in his own mind, down on confidence, and that's exactly what Sauce will be wanting him to do. Just look at the footy if you're out of position.
Kick there from Dawson. Didn't have the height it needed to get to the big boy McAvoy, but the boundary line's a pretty good result for the Saints.
St Kilda forward line structure this week. There's been a lot more space in their forward line. It's been good to watch. Maybe haven't got the reward for their shots at goal, but the space in their forward line has been great.
Got Farron Ray deep there at the moment. The advantage won't be paid here. McBurney has called a kick off the ball again.
Brendan got up, but they've just got to get on with it.
This will give Essendon time to get back. You've got to be aware the umpire hasn't called play on.
Del Sano with the kick at half-back, and there's a good look.
Just a bit worried about Gilbert's mobility for Hurley. I reckon it's an issue they need to address.
Gilbert there.
David Hill was on him in that contest.
Only because he blocked out.
Well, McVeigh's gone to him now. No, Hurley's going to him, is he? Yeah. Hurley's got Gilbert, causing a bit of trouble in the forward end. Here's Hill in front. The little backhand Palmer went to Jones, who will be happy with the ball up.
And this is where the legs you talked about, Jared, at three-quarter time. Essendon seem to be sustaining the run they had throughout the game. They seem to have got their rotations right and well rested.
Milne coming up into the stoppage here to try and lose McVeigh. McVeigh just there, swatting the ball down. Smart play by Stephen Milne. Take your man to traffic and try and lose him.
Always, when you're getting beaten by a backline player, take them up and try and lose them.
There's the handball to Gwilt. Gwilt with a centering kick, high ball. Cozzy's got the spot again. Fletcher's concerned. Dempsey went to mark. It spills to Milne. Milne a snap over his shoulder. It's a goal, I think. Missed.
And he lost McVeigh exactly the way you said he would, BT. He took him up to the pack and then just ran him hard back to goal, and very hard to keep up with.
What a great example for youngsters if they're getting tagged, how to deal with that. Milner upset with himself there for not finishing. A great effort. Here's Gumbleton. What a game. 2-point lead with the Bombers.
And that's why footy's a great game, BT, because Milner's been well beaten all day.
Gee, that was a risky kick that Prismal made look good.
But he's got 13 and a half minutes, and he could win the game for the Saints with a couple of late goals.
Fletcher got Melksham on really wide. He likes the delivery, can go over the top. An opportunity for Hocking. He's had a good day. Back to Melksham. 3 Saints coming at him. Gives the ball on to Howlett. Clobbers it inside. Here's Paddy. Ryder!
Right now.
In front of Dawson. And he'll line up on an acute angle. A difficult kick. We think the tail ending of this ball has a little bit of left to right about it.
It all starts with just magnificent disposal from Dustin Fletcher out of the back line. Pinpointed the youngster.
Paddy Ryder with a challenging kick. It's not easy. We're right in line with it. Good looking ball behind. The Bombers lead by 3.
He pinpointed Jake Melksham. He doesn't make too many errors with a brain, old Jake. He's a good decision maker.
Very good decision maker, and got the technique to back it up.
Hayes, you heard McBurney saying the push was okay because it was in the contest.
Got the big forward pressure right under the microscope here, the Saints.
Gee, Howlett almost smothered that ball. Monfrey's in the air, was a good aerialist. And that's a win for the Bombers.
I reckon they were just going for the boundary line there, BT.
Getting it as close as they could, probably, Gerard.
Just to get it out and start again with a stoppage.
Unlike Richmond last week, with their kick-ins in particular. Hill nudged under the ball by McAvoy. He's disguised it nicely. Did he handball or kick that one? I don't think so, Armitage. Hill's handball straight into Geary and eventually out of bounds. So it was attempted good enough when trying to dispose of the ball.
It is if you haven't had prior opportunity.
Nervous supporter there, boys.
Bombers fans.
No fingernails left.
Chewing them down, James. Hayes. Hopeful. Gee, did really well, McAvoy there to Del Sano. And now Jones. Good tackle, Hocking. Howlett, who's just a goer. Handball to Jones, tight. Did well, Jones. Here's Hayne. Goes inside 50. Fletcher rides first. Got clipped high. Should have been a free to Fletcher. Surely got dealt with one high. Ray busts the tackle. Caught now. And there is a decision going the Bombers' way.
And Courtney Dempsey, where he's improved his game, he was a very skillful, hard runner, but with that tackling ability, with the pace he's got, his tackling ability is very dangerous and really sticks them now.
Because they're using this bloke to get out of defence a number of times. He runs down and he's the outlet player with his high markers.
Zaharakis with Bombers in the middle everywhere.
Enormous aerobic capacity, Scott Gumbleton, ability to run up and down the ground.
Collier to Ryder. Couldn't get a run at it. He was worked under the ball professionally by Dawson. Now the ball is very much in dispute at the Bomber end. Had so many options through the middle there. They went the shorter one. Over the top would have opened the Saints up.
The Saints now brought Schneider on the ground and Milnoff. Rotate that smaller forward on and off the ground.
Watson.
Good hands.
Really was, wasn't it? Kick around the corner to Hill. Now the way he's kicked the ball today, you wouldn't put this beyond him. He wastes no time. Doesn't want to know about the angle. Kick on the way is across the face. At the back of the pack. Opportunity. I think it might have been doubled. Ryder runs to the open goal. He's got it. Bombers by 9 points.
Great play by Brent Stanton to get that ball out to David Hill, who kicked it in. But you saw where Scott Gumbleton, the reason they're patting him on the back, he's the guy that, as you said, Gerard, 30 seconds before, took the mark out on the wing, half back line.
How did he get there?
And was down, all the way down in the goal square to contest this ball and bring it to ground.
Gee,
just amazing run.
You'd love to have some ISO vision of that run, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'm not sure if we can pick it up, but and then Paddy Ryder, nice bit of crumbing. Don't give up his bit of work, but that running by Gumbleton, hard running wins you games.
So a 9-point Bomber lead here. Time is not a factor at this stage for the Saints.
One more and it'd be pretty tough for the Saints to get into this.
Biggest lead of the day has been 14 points by the Bombers. Here's this man, Hayne. First game out, good delivery.
Oh, free kick. Just clipped him.
And that's a free to Cozzy.
That is a classic one of the new era. That would have been play on in any other.
Yeah, that's Fletch playing on Tony Lockett or Gary Ablett on that area. You used to be able to do that, but
With a pick-up by Hayne.
it's a great pick-up and a lovely kick too, right out in front. And really, it's all Fletch could do. He was because he had that meter on him.
Since it wasn't even a chopping of the arms as well, just a belt of the shoulder.
Clip to the ear. Shoulder region. Cozzy lines up. As a result, goal for desperate need the Saints. Crowd of 39,204 here today. Kazitsky comes in. It's online. It's online. Just drifts across the face.
And Hurdy, Steve Milne's come back onto the ground. Still Mark McVeigh still hasn't had a rest in this last quarter again.
There is McVeigh. And his opponent. Hill's got to beat 3 here. 4 in fact, because Hayes arrived. Hayes just kicks it into the spot. Danger here. Up goes McVeigh. Fletcher as well. They all committed. Hayne around the corner. Pressure just at the last moment got him as he was pushed off balance.
And Essendon running a lot harder than St Kilda. Essendon's handball receives 15 to St Kilda 7.
Gee, Watson probably could have, or Prismore it was, probably could have got a free there. The kick goes in and McVeigh getting back to cut off a certain McQualter mark. Atkinson now with the bounce. The run down by McQualter. Luckily got rid of him. He would have been pinged for sure. Atkinson nurses the ball to Howlett. Good penetrating run by Atkinson. High ball on the head of Stanton. Did well. He'll be paid the mark as Dawson came in and gave him a blow to the back of the scone. Stanton needs to get to his feet or tell the umpire he can't take it.
Terrific courage by Brent Stanton. Pushes off Clint Jones, who's been all over him all day. Goes back for the mark. And Zach Dawson needed to keep his elbows down there.
Well, he needed to spoil the footy.
Well, that's contact to the head.
He had
So
to
that
go
will
the
be
ball.
looked at automatically by Zach Dawson. There is Dempsey trying to get through traffic. He's caught and gone. Good precision.
Bad handball by Stanton. He gave it to Dempsey under pressure.
This game is so quick. Are they bringing it back? And
Yeah, it's got to come back.
umpire's whistle's going off left, right and centre.
You just see the handball again and see that Dempsey just really had no opportunity. It was 2 or 3 players came in. We see Brent Stanton goes to go round. Clint Jones can't and gives it to Courtney Dempsey, who didn't have a lot of options then.
He was triangled.
Triangle.
They were coming from all 3 directions, Hurdy. There's Hayes. Got the journey with the kick that Cozzy got on the end of. Milne was tripped and legged, and that'll be a free.
It's a brave man that tries to go around Alwyn Davey. Lenny Hayes is the one for mine, Hurdy, that needs to be really locked down upon at the present time. Howlett was on him for a fair period of time. At the moment, it's Jetta, but I think it's only a temporary move.
Goddard screaming for the ball. It's coming his way now. Straightens up. Kick into the spot. Blake! An unlikely goal kicker, but here he goes.
Interesting play that you find a gap sort of 40 metres out straight in front of Alwyn Davey. Just getting Stephen Milne. Milne's very unpredictable. Goddard, another great pass, but probably too much space, Jared, in the middle of the kicking zone, 40 metres out straight in front.
Wouldn't have had too many shots this year. Blake, in fact.
Directly in front. Kick on the way. Right-hand side.
Hasn't kicked the score this year, but he's for that one.
7-point margin. Time just starting to become a little factor as we head into red time here. 20-minute mark, 7.5 minutes remaining. Down the middle here is a risky one. Did well, Collier, to bring the ball to the ground with one hand.
Was it a free kick, BT? It didn't look to me to be a free kick.
No, it didn't look to be a free to me, but I'm liking the umpire's business this week. McVeigh, Atkinson.
Good kick.
Went to have a look at a young man umpire the under-10s this morning at Essendon, and he did a fine job. Here's Monfries. Bit of an ugly kick off the boot that Ryder's going to have a go at. And just at the last moment, perhaps, lost vision of the ball.
You see this.
Oh, yeah, not much of a free kick there.
You still had that body contact.
There's a little bit of stink on in the forward pocket. Fisher and Elwyn Davey.
And it meant the Bombers had the numbers in the contest because there were two Saints going at Elwyn Davey.
It was a tough tackle, very hard tackle, and probably just got him low enough to be not a free kick, but as it comes in here, Monfries almost.
Another one at the other end for virtually no contact. There's a go. Hill pinged the ball to him. Did he have prior opportunity? The umpire said we're going to let it go as Ryder kicks it out of bounds in the full.
And the Saints will have the ball, need to move it very quickly, probably need to open up the other side to create a goal, because this side is there's too many players on this side of the ground, although Miller's going to go straight down the line.
He does, and gets it near the boundary line. Goddard was there over the back, recovers his own ball. Hill arrives, didn't have any support, Goddard, so he didn't want to knock it out. Quick hands by Goddard with really good armoutage. Hayes, doesn't matter who's hanging off him. Here's Jones, couple of bouncers, tried to get between the Bombers, kicked downfield, Cozzy kept it alive. Myers, Fletcher, Prismal needs to make a good decision. A high loopy handball gave a little bit of time for Blake to get to Dempsey, and Dempsey
still in. Didn't
go over in its entirety, the ball. And so the Bombers now with Hurley. Hawking, under 6 remaining. Oh boy, the ball hit Hurley in the head.
Oh, well played.
Beautiful little Shimasaki from Collier. Got it to Hill. Hill can run in and kick his 5th. Unselfishly goes across to Zaharakis. I'm not sure of the decision there. And a free kick St Kilda's way.
An advantage.
Montagne's away, no?
Oh, umpire, you called it, then you pulled it back.
David Hill, I think, should have had a shot at goal. BT backed himself.
I reckon he did the right thing. He should hit the target, though.
Well, it's probably a pretty good point, that.
Milne goes wide to Snyder. Winderlick the tackle, certainly didn't handball or to kick it. Here's Ryder, gave the little one away. Prismal diving attempt on Monfries it is. Monfries has marked. He can kick the ball, but this will test his distance.
Can St Kilda come back if he kicks this BT? It's a 4.5 minutes.
Well, it'll make it a 13-point lead, and they would need 3 goals to do it, James. You would think in the context of the way the game's been played, it's probably unlikely. So here is Monfries from outside 50. Will need to not leave anything behind. Comes in, got a full piece of it. Monfries! Goal!
That's a great kick under pressure from Angus Monfries, and having played with him for 4 or 5 years, he's one of the hardest trainers and hardest goal-kicking trainers you'll see. Loves a goal, spends hours and hours out in the track kicking goals, and there's due reward for someone who practices a lot. The ball could have gone either way there, and as we see, terrific kick from Zaharakis, and Monfries wasn't going to let that one go with a great mark. That's a kick from outside 50, under pressure. It's a great goal.
So the Saints now have it up against them. 13 points down. We've got precisely 4 minutes 22, and Monfries kicking his 2nd. 3 goals apiece in this last quarter.
And BT, St Kilda are only playing with a 4-man forward line at the moment, so 2 spare men for Essendon.
Beautiful tap to Hayes, who clears the ball into the attacking 50. Montagna went at it. Blake to Ray, walked through a bit of traffic. Here comes Fletcher.
Great pick-up.
A real tough pick-up that he made look easy. Now Hurley goes down the line to Gumbleton. Keeps his body and turns it inboard. Intelligent play from Gumbleton. Atkinson clobbered by Baker. Umpire said no free. Bomber fans in disbelief. Look at the pick up by Fletcher. And then the drilling tackle by Stevie Baker might have got slightly into his back.
Slightly.
Snyder. Del Santo. Great by foot, not this time. Hurley got clipped by McWalter. 50 to go with it. Just looked like hocking off the back. It hurt his leg as well. And cramp it is for him, so that's not a concern. A clip around the ear for Hurley. So the 50 will now be halfway down the ground. And you would think the Saints are running out of time. Scoreboard pressure now. And time clock pressure really going to come into their minds. There goes the Saints. Fisher. Need a goal out of this thrust. Blake to the run of Gilbert. Gilbert over the top. Opportunity goes inside 50. McQualter marks from the Hayes kick.
Brilliant forward play by Lenny Hayes, but probably going to be just a little bit short on time now, the Saints. And just looking back at David Hill, I reckon it's been his performance since halfway through that first quarter that really has sparked the Bombers.
McQualter to get it back to a 7-point margin. Comes in, steps to the line. No fuss, McQualter. 7-point margin with 2:44 remaining. Hurley got clipped by McQualter. And a 50 to go with it. Just looked like hocking off the back. It hurt his leg as well. And cramp it is for him, so that's not a concern. A clip around the ear for Hurley. So the 50 will now be halfway down the ground. And you would think the Saints are running out of time. Scoreboard pressure now. And time clock pressure really going to come into their minds. There goes the Saints. Fisher. Need a goal out of this thrust. Blake to the run of Gilbert. Gilbert over the top. Opportunity goes inside 50. McQualter marks from the Hayes kick.
Brilliant forward play by Lenny Hayes, but probably going to be just a little bit short on time now, the Saints. And just looking back at David Hill, I reckon it's been his performance since halfway through that first quarter that really has sparked the Bombers.
McQualter to get it back to a 7-point margin. Comes in, steps to the line. No fuss, McQualter. 7-point margin with 2:44 remaining. Not done with yet, the Saints.
No, I agree, BT. This game is far from done. 2:44 to go. All he needs a quick break out of the middle. There's plenty of time for at least 2 shots a goal. And I thought with this handball by Stevie Baker, he'd gone too wide and messed them up. But a nice kick down the line, taking the mark by Blake. And then Gilbert running through that run. Lenny Hayes backed himself. He had Montagna out wide, but decided to come in close. And it was a terrific bit of play. And St Kilda probably have needed more of that all day.
So, here we go. 7 points the difference.
You can have all your match plans and structures, etc., but with this long to go, everybody's playing man on man.
Hill into the ruck. Spinning opportunity with Hill. Kick goes inside 50. Ryder keeps his feet. Dawson doesn't. Ryder went and got a funny little handball. Davey, can he get rid of the tackle? Jetta. Ryder for the winning goal. Ryder's kicked the winning goal for the Bombers. He's got 3. And I think the Bombers are home now.
And it shows what a fast break can do out of the middle. You can have your structure, you can have your setups, but if you get the ball out of the middle, it puts pressure on the back line. And Zach Dawson, when the ball came down, a fantastic spoil. But what it enabled Essendon to do is we see David Hill getting up in the ruck. Nice tap down. Joe Watson hands on ball. It's not pretty. David Hill gets it out. Zach Dawson here's the spoil, loses his feet. Once you lose your feet, you're out of the contest. Enable Paddy Ryder to get the ball over. And Owen Davey probably should have taken that cleanly and kicked the goal himself. But Ryder keeping his feet stayed in the contest and a nice snap around the corner.
Matty Knights sitting down there with Simon Madden, looking rather nervous. But I think the Bombers will be there now. Here go the Saints again. Gardner, kick along the ground. Dalsano overran it. But still they have an opportunity. Here's Gilbert on his favourite left side. Tries to spot up the target. Couldn't quite get it. Opportunity here for the Saints. Goddard went hard. Hayne was in there. And the Bombers now just need a mark or a free to maintain possession. And there it is. There's the free, and now they'll milk the clock. The Bombers will maintain possession now for as long as they can.
Terrific win, BT, from the Bombers if they get up. I definitely thought St Kilda would have come out here and beat them by 3 or 4, but the Saints have got their worries with their game at the moment. They're not getting enough of the ball into open spaces and just can't score enough goals, Jared.
No, they can't, and they're so susceptible to that fast break, as is every team.
Kick from Baker's a ripper, and Fisher will get an opportunity to kick a quick goal here. He's outside 50. Wind up and go long, and he does. A high ball. Cossey's there, Blake's there as well, punch through in the end behind.
The question is, Hurdy, is there bigger issues for St Kilda than the loss of Nick Riewoldt?
Well, I mean, obviously Nick Riewoldt down up forward probably would have provided them options. He provides them a get-out-of option when they're in trouble further up the ground, and their structure looks a lot better.
What are their tackles in that show today, Jared? Their contested possession?
Tackles have been pretty good. They've they were out tackling Essendon, but in the last quarter Essendon have gone up and beaten them in the tackles.
Yeah, 70 to 65.
Yeah.
So this, Jared, if the Saints do go down, it very much looks like that, will mean they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. The Saints, and be under some pressure. Gardner with a little poker. He was careful not to infringe. Ball over the line, under a minute now. The Bombers fans can start to just lift their backsides off the seat and enjoy. Knight says, get everyone up there.
And you've got to praise Essendon for their win. They were shocked last week and they lost to Port Adelaide, playing some really good footy, and just to get beaten at the post. To bounce back from that, I think it's been a very good effort.
One of the biggest issues is the scoreline, 11-15 to 14-9. I mean, the bottom line is Essendon, from their chances, have been much more accurate.
There they have Fletcher, the soccer out of defence. Look at the speed of Zaharakis. Montagna closing him down and pushing him off the ball in the end. Well done, Joey Montagna. Kick around the corner, down to 20. Bombers, famous win, got the Tigers next week. Chance to get on a mini roll and win consecutive games for the first time this year.
And important you do that in any season. I think for Essendon, the players, the supporters, to back up and make 2 final series in a row. A long way from doing that at the moment, but a win this week, a win next week, will get them on a bit of a roll.
Saints are going to Subi to play a team that's won 2 in a row in West Coast on their home turf. The biggest trip in footy. Bombers have won. Matty Knight with his 3rd win of the year. And a major upset here today. Essendon by 12 points.
You thought, Jerry, when Carl Hooker went down at half through the first quarter, it was going to be a tough day for the Bombers. Michael Hurley going back to half-back was okay. Probably not his best game back there, but then David Hill stood up partway through that game. Alan Davey, Jason Windlick started to get some run through the middle of the ground. Mark McVeigh kept Stephen Milne to a goal, I think, which is a great effort. This ball Milne's in. And I think from an Essendon point of view, they started it, or Matthew Knight's got them playing the way he's been wanting them to play all year, and I think that's the best I've seen them play definitely this year.
There's no doubt that David Hill forward is the key to them. He gives them just that little bit more strength, a little bit more experience. They've got plenty of young kids coming through, but they do need a wise head down there, and Hill's been able to give them that big body. Ryder goes down there, he's got the great athleticism, but it's a much more balanced side when they've got Hill doing the majority of his work inside 50 and then going into the ruck rather than the reverse.
Well, a big, big win here for the Bombers today. 12-point winners, crowd of 39,204 here today. And the Bomber fans are ecstatic. The Saints have now lost 3 out of their last 4. The losses coming to Port, Carlton and the Bombers. And as I said, have West Coast at Subi next week. Let's go to Rowan Smith, who's out in the middle with the star who kicked for David Hill.
Thanks, BT. Well, Dave, that's a fantastic win, mate.
Yeah, no, great win for us, you know. That's where we think we're at, you know. We can turn out performances like that. We just want to become more consistent, and it's a great result for us.
It was a really good balance between being offensive and doing the defensive stuff.
Yeah, good point, you know. That's what we were trying to, that's our focus every week, you know, coming with the tackles and the hard balls and And, we're much more even this week, which was fantastic. Yeah.
And also with such a young team as well.
Oh, look, yeah, they got this team's getting more mature, and with each game, and that's what we expected now to put in a solid performance like that, as you say, both ways.
Yourself, playing in the ruck and then going forward, looked like you enjoyed going forward tonight.
Yeah, well, we had to mix it up after Hooksy went down and spent more time probably on the field than we'd originally planned, and because with Michael Hurley going back, so get on the end of a few was good. Paddy kicked through as well. It's good, a good return from the rucks.
Congratulations, mate. What a fantastic win. Go and enjoy it with the boys.
Good one.
Just interesting, boys. You look at the way they structured that forward line. It was always going to be about Gumbleton and Hurley. They're just too inexperienced for mine, and Hill just caps them off.
Yeah, look, it was great. I think Matthew Knights has finally got them playing the way he's been talking about. He's been criticised for his game style a little bit, but he was fantastic in this game style today.
Ah, yes, the Bombers got it going here today by 12 points, defeating the hot favourites, the Saints. 11-15-81 to the Bombers, 14-9-93. Goes inside 50. Ryder keeps his feet. Dawson doesn't. Ryder went and got it. Funny little handball. Davey. Can he get rid of the tackle? Jetta. Ryder for the winning goal. Ryder's kicked the winning goal for the Bombers. He's got 3. And I think the Bombers are home now.
Yes, it was one of the great games of the season, a most exciting finish. And in the finish, it was the Bombers by 2 goals, 14-9-93 to St Kilda, 11-15-81. The Bombers by 12 points, and accuracy in front of goal, a key factor in the win. As we take a look at the numbers, Hurdy, what do you see?
Yeah, well, David Hill with his 4 goals is a standout. I think you said moving up forward was great for him. Watson with 25 possessions, Hocking with 23. Lenny Hayes and Del Santo were great, 33 and 32. Kaczynski went in and out of the game, kicking his 3. So, look, I think he had an all right game. I think there was some marks he should have taken, but most of the stats went St Kilda's way. But the tackles went Essendon's way, and I think Essendon's game today was one of the better games I've seen. Matthew Knights has been talking about all year about this defensive and offensive blend that he wants to get.
So's all the supporters when they lose.
That's true. And I think he got it today. I think he got exactly what he wanted as we go down the Essendon rooms. They'll be ecstatic with this win. I think they've come up against St Kilda, who they really look up to in terms of the way they go hard at the ball and tackle and what they do with the game. And to beat them was a fantastic effort by Essendon.
I'm not sure St Kilda could play much better either, just quietly. I think that their contested ball was great, the tackles were good. They just missed a few shots at goal that they probably should have nailed early.
Yeah, their kicking a goal wasn't great. I think that their movement in the forward line still can get better. I think that they're doing everything that your coach wants to do on the hard things, but just that fluency of their movement through the midfield and through the game just looked to be a bit static to us.
Well, that wraps it up for us from Etihad. Don't forget Rodney Eade on the couch tomorrow night. We'll see you there, Hurdy.
Can't wait.
Great to have you back on board. Saints, for supporters, it wasn't your day, it was the Bombers.